Hello, hello,
ladies. Yeah, because this show has got to be the most seductive show on the internet as far as the ladies are concerned.
Well, just some guy has said that he's already put his credit cards into a strong box and locked them up. I said, it's okay. Google autofill's got you, bruh.
By the way, can I just talk about how much I love Just Some Guy?
He's awesome. Yes.
I'm a huge fan
we
of
need
his.
to have you on the show. We need to have you on the show.
Yeah, but what does he know? He's just some guy.
He's just some guy.
I watch his videos religiously. Love the man. I want to go to Chicago. I want to go to the Green Mill, listen to some jazz, and get drunk with him. I don't know if he drinks. I don't want to assume that he does.
Sounds good.
That's an aside. You should come too.
Well, I'm hoping next year to come over.
Well, you know what we should do? We should go on a road trip. We should get like Gary, you, me. We should rent theaters out and do like a 5-city tour. And we'll use it to
would like to go around because obviously people are all over the place. I'd like to go to Florida and then meet the people in Florida.
Yeah,
and then,
we should just take an awesome YouTube pundit road trip and do like an evening with. Because I got to tell you, when John Campy had 100 million views party, and I'm like, who's going to come? He did. He ran it out of theater, and it was packed. It was sold out, and we had the best time. And all we did was talk to people and like regale them. It was awesome. And that way we could all meet each other. And of course, the last stop will be in California at Sideshow. Right? I mean, we get more views than Sideshow's videos do.
Holy shit, I'm going to make sure there are super chats on these fucking
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just put a tweet out when I hit 100 million views on my channel. I just put a tweet out. So, yeah. But yeah, that sounds like a really good idea because I did want to go, like I said, I did want to go through various places. I wanted to, because there's people in Florida, obviously, then there's people on the other side of the country, and then there's people all over the place. I was kind of hoping that, I could like intersect at least.
Dude, let's crowdfund it. We'll crowdfund the whole thing. We'll rent we'll be like the old Shazam TV show in the 70s. We'll get a giant like RV. It'll be our party bus. And then when we're not renting out a theater like in the major cities, we can stop in smaller cities and have like cookouts. And just meet people, bring a home theater system where we can get a screen, like a big, and do like a drive-in event. Like we'll show movies and then we'll talk about them later and just do it for the summer. And then we broadcast from our party van. Come on, dude.
It sounds good.
It'd be awesome. A 3-month trip. It'll be, instead of the SS Minnow and Gilligan's Island, a 3-hour tour. We'd have the 3-hour or the 3-month. The finding the heart of America or something, and we stop in all like Just Some Guy. We make a big Chicago event with Just Some Guy in his hometown.
I don't want to die in Chicago.
We're not going to die. Chicago's a great town.
Okay.
It's great. It's Buck Rogers, Chicago. It's my kind of town. The food is great there. The drinks are great there. The pours are even better. I mean, there's so many cool places to go in Chicago. I'm telling you, man.
The Dark Knight was filmed there.
Absolutely. We'll go to like Devil's Tower, where the mothership landed in Close Encounters.
Oh,
come on, man. We'll do it up. It'd be great. And it could be. See, Just Some Guy says he'll protect you. He's got your back.
He'll protect me.
You know what? And if anything happens, he'll pull out one of his guitars and start shredding.
Oh,
no one hurts anybody playing guitar.
No, it brings everyone together. God damn. Yeah, folks. I was just talking to Robert before the stream. Just something I wanted to kind of not confess to per se. That sounds awfully dramatic. But like recently, I've obviously been wanting to get stuff ready for you. This week, I was really hoping to have the Justice Mobile up here. There's a very specific reason why things aren't, and I've kind of like kept quiet about it because I've tried to like get through it, but I've done a couple of silly things.
Not Brexit, is it?
Fucked myself. Yeah, Brexit. As many of you be aware, a few weeks ago, I banged my right leg, and I killed the nail on it. Well, I didn't tell you exactly what I'd done. I actually went over on the ankle, and the ankle was badly sprained, and so I was hobbling around with this sprained ankle, and this dead nail, which was dying by the day, and so it was. Movement has been very limiting for me, and I've not been able to get the stuff which I want up. I just simply can't. I simply cannot carry it. And in doing downstairs and getting downstairs like nice and clear and ready for stuff to come up here and shit, I went over on the over ankle, and it's now exceedingly swollen, so they can't bandage it, because it's just they said they need the swelling to come down, and it's pretty much black. As you'll be aware, the nail was coming off, and I was trying to deal with this nail coming off with a badly sprained ankle, and so I'm literally hobbling around the house. My mobility's fucked, and my nail is catching on everything. Absolutely fucking everything. So last night, if you were unaware, I ripped the nail off. Ripped the big toenail off. So that's gone. But this, I wanted the room, obviously the office, to have been done by now, but I just physically can't do that right now. And so I've been keeping quiet, because I've been like thinking in the background, yeah, I'll just plow through. And then the reality of it is, when I'm trying to do it, I can't. I simply can't. So I'm going to have to rest it up for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4. I don't know how long it's going to take for the swelling to come down. And then once I'm more mobile, then get back onto it. I am able to carry up the 1 in 6s, but it takes me like 3 minutes to get down the stairs.
Like I told you, I twisted my ankle back in the winter. I slipped on the wet stairs in our backyard, and it took me 3 months. I'd never had such an injury before.
It's horrible, because brutal. It's when you go over on it, you try and immediately auto-correct the body.
Yeah.
It's like it's an instinctive reaction, but when the ankle's gone, when you've gone over on it, you've got nothing on the other side to.
Brutal, dude.
I am a klutz, Steve. My friends absolutely rip the shit out of me for being Mr. Clumsy. It's true. Yeah. Well, they say whenever I come around, just lock up your fucking valuables.
Well, we're gonna try and bring you joy on this stream. In addition to the viewers, we're gonna make sure. I've got a couple of things. I do have a couple of things. I have something that you're gonna just love. By the way,
I think I've got something you're gonna fucking jizz over.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because jizzing over things is always good.
Well, it's good for the prostate.
Yes, it is.
It's good for the prostate. So
it's also good for just mental health.
Yeah. It is, actually. Do you know how
as I get older with 1 foot in the grave,
this is the way how you defeat women, right? Never go into a situation with a woman horny. You'll lose every time as a male. But crack one off before you do. Then go, she got nothing. She got nothing. She can't do anything.
Oh, dude, that was my
been calmed.
That was my MO in high school and college, and or up until my 30s. You had to prepare, because if you knew you were going to have a great night, you wanted to make sure that you were not you didn't want to have to read an article about how to last longer.
I got to come clean here. I actually had the complete reverse problem. I just couldn't finish. I was just going and going and going and going. Wow.
this stream is taking a turn for.
I know.
Tonight is HAWT toys.
Today's
Wow.
toys of penis.
Wow.
So
All
I went
right,
to the
then.
doctor. I went to the doctor and I was like, doctor, I can't finish. And do you know what he said to me?
You didn't have enough hot toys to excite you at home?
he said he did a Frankie Goes to Hollywood on me.
Relax.
Said, relax. Relax. And it was weird because after that it was just like bang.
It's true.
Bang. What do you mean TMI? Isn't sharing caring?
It is sharing. It is caring. You know, we went from toe manicure to unfinished business, as Andrew Grimm says. By God, yes, indeed. But so now to get into the facts at hand. The real question is, did you get any toys this week?
Yes.
And were they hot?
Oh, well, no.
They
were not. They were not official hot toys.
Oh,
so I got 2 1-in-6s, but they weren't. They are from different producers,
right?
Manufacturers.
Very interested. So third party.
Yeah, third party. There is some. I gotta say, I am so mad with Toys Wonderland right now. Because they are putting amazing stuff after 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 all week.
Yeah, I know.
All week.
Yeah.
Do you know what's really got me though? What they've released or they're re-releasing?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. But,
okay, let me get it out. Ladies.
First of all, I gotta say there are things like that are on Hot Toys that I've just looked at and I've been blown away. Oh yeah, bruh. As Justin, I was streaming with Justin last night, and he said that normally when they've done third-party Bane figures, all they've done is recast the original Hot Toys Bane head sculpt. But Justin said, this figure has a brand new Bane head sculpt, and it shows. Look at this figure, man. Look at this figure. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bruh. Look at this.
Oh. Did Justin do that, by the way?
Did Justin do what?
The photoshopping for this.
I don't think he did. But I never know. Justin, you know what? Justin is like the most. I feel like he's very Machiavellian. When I hear his hello, I'm like, it gives me a soothing feel to my world. I feel whenever I just hear him say hello in his Aussie accent, I just feel everything is okay.
There's Biker Bane as well.
Yeah, that's the stock exchange version that comes with the helmet.
Stock exchange Bane with biker helmet.
Yeah.
Look,
I know.
You can even see, look, it even goes on the head.
Bruh.
That head sculpt looks so good as well.
So good. It looks so good. I'm very excited about that.
There's no stock exchange. There's no money for you to steal here. And then why are you here?
Yeah,
look at that. 2 beautiful Banes.
Now I gotta say, and I this might, because you know I'm kind of I like my female figures. Did you see the 6th scale Jane by Super Duck Toys, which is Jane on Asgard?
Oh yes.
That's a beautiful figure. I mean, I don't know if it's not necessarily my thing.
Wow,
it is kind of a beautiful figure.
It's kind of sexy.
It's very sexy. Yeah, there we go.
You know,
I mean, look at that outfit. I love like the everything about that outfit, the color of it all. I mean, is it the greatest Natalie Portman head sculpt in the world? No, but it's redolent of her enough that I'm like, okay, I see that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. And it's a beautiful figure. I mean, and if you're doing an Asgard display, like with Odin and Loki and Thor and all that, I mean, it definitely could fit right in there. And then I don't know if you saw, Justin told me that Present Toys, the company Present Toys, has changed their name to Thunder Toys. I don't know why, because I've got a lot of Present Toys on order, and they put out a new Spider-Man 3. I mean, a Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. That's something new that dropped, and that looks pretty dope.
Look at that one as well.
Yeah.
I actually do quite like that Natalie Portman.
I do too.
I would have to have a Thor to go along with it, though.
Yeah.
Now then, let's get the let's just go. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we got one. I don't think this is the deluxe one, but let's just grab this one. But Shrinky McPinky, boosh.
Yeah, bro, look at that. I mean, I've always loved. Now, this is the Spider-Man 2 version, as Justin told me. I have a Spider-Man 3 Hot Toys figure that I've always liked, but this is pretty exquisite. This looks pretty damn great. And look at that.
That looks great, doesn't it?
It looks great. Yeah. Yes, it does. You know, and in one of my Modular cases, I might be doing just a Spider-Man display with the quarter scale Spider-Man surrounded by other Spider-Men, Spiderman, including my Green Goblin.
Oh, you have no idea how excited I am for the classic Green Goblin.
Oh, I know, man. It's looking good. Looking mighty fine.
I am very excited about that.
Yeah.
Also, oh my goodness me. This is a statue. Okay, I'll show it off though, because it does look dope as fuck.
Yeah, man.
There's one left of these folks at Toys Wonderland, but this is a statue of Ninja Nightwing.
Yeah, this is really, really cool. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Is that a Prime 1 statue?
I don't know if it's a Prime 1. I don't think it's Prime 1. It's bloody gorgeous, though.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Look at that. Woof. XM.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Whoa. Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Come on, man. Who doesn't want that?
Wow.
That's pretty dope, dude.
That's Tengu. Asko Tengu.
Yeah, that's very, very, very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Hey, do you know what goes well with Spider-Man 2?
I don't.
Oh,
dude, you already got that? Oh, man.
That's what goes well with Spider-Man 2. Look at this, folks.
Wow.
If you haven't got this, you need to go to Toys Wonderland now. You need to get the Arc. It's amazing. All of these arms are fully articulated. Every single joint is articulated on the arms.
Wow.
It's absolutely crazy in the poses that you can get this in. I've just put a bunch of money bags. He's holding a money bag. He's got a money bag stuffed under his arm because he needs these two to do some climbing. Climbing. And the base is the Arc. You get a firm stand so you can really pose this up. So I put it sideways. Instead of putting it at the back, I actually put it on sideways, which is just allowed to get some Yeah, I'll go full scrun. There you go. Bushy, James Belushi.
Wow.
Turn you into the camera. He's got the goggles there. You can put them on if you want. They are removable, those goggles. The jacket, the brown jacket, comes zipped up. You actually have to unzip it. The Alfred Moleno head sculpt, I think, is bloody awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just perfect. I think it just has the right. I think it has the right blend of the actor, and it just has a sort of blend of the actor and just a slight comicness to it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what a great figure that is. Look at how wow, that's really cool.
Oh, and look, for a third party, this is cheap, folks. This is cheap. It's like £140. And if you live in the UK and you purchase, there's no import fees because it's coming from Australia. So there's no import fees. So you're paying literally for the model and delivery. So it's about, I'd say about 200, 210 in total. And for this, because you're never going to get I don't think you're going to get a Hot Toy official.
No.
It's cheap in terms of 1 in 6s. I'm not trying to be flippant. I mean, I'm working off the assumption that we all kind of understand the economics of these things.
Yes, indeed. But man, that is one gorgeous.
And these all twist and turn. All of these move. These are all articulated. Everything. The articulation on this is absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
I thought you had jizzed your pants.
Wow.
And I jizzed in my pants. But yes, that arrived a couple of days back, which is good because it took me a couple of days to get up the fucking stairs. It came a couple of days back, and it was last night that I got it out properly, ladies. That I got it out, and I started to, put it all together. And oh, by the way, when I did that, I've sprained my right thumb.
Oh man,
I am falling apart, Robert.
I don't know what to say, buddy.
Falling apart.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. Neither do I. But if to quote Justin, when it's gone, it's gone. They won't make another run of these, folks.
Oh yeah.
This is 207. Sorry, Doc is 207, which is amazing for what you get. For what you get, your bang for your buck. It's freaking unreal. I am right now. I am a walking mess. Well, I'm not. I'm a hobbling mess. I'm not even a walking mess. So yeah, some of these third-party things that just come our way are absolutely outstanding, and the Ock is one of them.
I've shown this before, but this is third-party as well.
Yeah,
and this is one of the great. I think it's made by the same company. The Dr. Ock is made.
I think Toys Era, is it Dr. Ock?
Yeah.
Toys Era. Yeah.
I mean, this is, you can see the glider, that it came with, and I mean, this is so. I mean, they call him the Fiend because it's third party, but
yes.
This is an amazing figure. You can't really see on this, but it's like the eyes are translucent and the mouth is translucent. I love this figure, and this isn't. I have to be honest. I was never a fan of this iteration of the Green Goblin.
Yeah,
in the movie, but this figure was so cool. I'm like, oh my god, okay, because Hot Toys never really made this figure, especially with the glider and all that. So I'm like, oh, and when I got this, I couldn't believe the quality of it. This is a really high quality figure. Even the stand, they give you multiple ways to pose it, and this is an incredible figure. And that Doc Ock, man, I mean, even when you take it off, the way it like a figure standing on this thing. This dude, look at this. Look at the detail of this thing. This is
Crazy.
fantastic. So they've done a good job with these. I mean, they've taken their time, and you certainly get your money's worth with these figures. So that Doc Ock, I will not confirm or deny that I have it on a payment plan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
anything else that you'd like to bring up while you are stealing the show, sir?
Oh, no, please go back. I'll put him back. I'm just putting him back on his stand. So I don't want to bring anything up. No.
Okay. 2 secs.
I'm just setting it up. I will. Okay. I'll bring up something since you've got me here.
Oh, okay. Hi. Bye.
Hello. So last week I showed a head sculpt, a Jon Snow head sculpt, and I did not have Jon Snow. So what? Now this is when Elizabeth, my girlfriend, is she's sitting there talking to herself about, this is my figure, this is my figure, this is my figure. She's going to take them. So it came. Here's the Jon Snow figure. This is the season 8 Jon Snow figure. Now I know winter's coming and all that. Now I have to say I had a few Game of Thrones figures. I had like Brienne of Tarth. I have Cersei Lannister. I had Tyrion Lannister. I wasn't gonna get like Game of Thrones figures because the 8th season bummed me out so much. But then Elizabeth and I watched Game of Thrones again, and while the 7th and especially the 8th season have terrible, it bummed me out. I still enjoyed the show so much that I'm like, you know what? They put out this Bran Stark, Tormund's coming out. They had a Jon Snow figure. I'm like, I would like to have more Game of Thrones figures in my life, and I wanted to get Jon Snow, even though, man, did they do him dirty in the show. Totally did him dirty. So
they did plenty of characters dirty.
Yeah, they did. But Jon, so last week, as you remember, I because of Justin, I bought a head sculpt on 1/6 kit. Now, I finally got the Jon Snow. Now, this is the head sculpt that came with the Jon Snow figure.
Yes.
So here's the head sculpt that came with the figure. So this was the one that came released with the figure. And I had seen this head sculpt before, and I knew that this other head sculpt. So here we go. Here he is, season 8, Jon Snow with the new head sculpt that I got. And I am this figure is amazing. It is a great figure. I really enjoy it with the newer head sculpt that I got. And you can see, I'll put him up. Wait, I'm going to bring him around here, so you can, which head sculpt is better? I think definitely the one I used is better. This one kind of looks like generic Action Man, whereas it's in the lips.
Yeah, there's something dead about the first one behind the eyes. It just looks...
Yeah.
But the second one is much better. Yeah,
look, you can see the eye lights. I mean, his eyes. And this figure, this figure is fucking dope. He's even got his whole sword. He's got the wolf, the pommel.
The white wolf. Yeah,
the white wolf pommel. And this is, the outfits, the multi layers. Yeah, this is an amazing figure. Everything about it, the accessories, and I have his hand on the, of course, the dragon glass blade, and in the back, it's really great,
didn't it, John?
And then he's got back here, he's got another weapon. This is a beautiful. The outfits on these figures are great. The head sculpts are not great, and the girls, the Sansa and the Arya, the head sculpts are not great. But these third-party head sculpts, I think, very happy with. And this is a chunk, as Justin would say, a chonky figure. Yeah, I'm happy to have this. Everything about this I really like. It's first rate, and wow, very happy with this. And of course, it's
just to me, I
know
it killed me. It killed, and I know because I would love to have them in a collection, but I literally don't care about them now.
I know, but watching the show again, I'm like, All I want to get Jon Snow, Sansa, Arya, and Bran, and just that'll be it. Like I was gonna get the Night King, but I'm like, why? He's a punk. That guy. I mean, in terms of he went out like a bitch. And of all the punk ass villains in the world, I'm like, the Night King was like formidable. He had a strategy. He knew what was up. And then, oh wait, no, he doesn't. No. And I'm like, there's no reason to buy such a punk. I'd rather, you know what? My Ben Kingsley from Iron Man 3 is more formidable than the Night King. And I'd much rather display him because he comes with the chair.
In Mandalorian or Trevor form?
In Trevor form, you know. I mean, I'm like, come on, you know. And yeah.
I said Mandalorian, didn't
I? Yes. You meant Mandarin. I knew what you meant.
The Mandarin.
I wasn't gonna correct you. But no, I mean, I have that Hot Toys figure, and that is a great Hot Toys figure.
The Mandarin one.
Yeah, the man.
Yeah, but he looked great as the Mandarin.
It's beautiful. And what I want to do is, inevitably, for Shang-Chi, they better make a Tony Leung, because I love Tony Leung so much. They better make a Tony Leung Mandarin figure, and I want to display him in my new Maja cases. I want to have him sitting down looking all boss, but then have the real Mandarin looming over the back of his chair, like ready to kill him.
But in Shang-Chi, he just looks basic.
Well, we'll see. We'll see where he winds up.
Do you know, this is what I'm going to see, dude. Sorry, I'll tell you the reason why I was faffing about in a minute. That's what I want to see.
Oh, dude.
That's the Green Goblin.
Look at that head sculpt, bruh.
I know, it's amazing. That's the Green Goblin.
Yep.
Right there. That's what I am absolutely desperate for.
Yeah, and that come on.
Come on, man.
So good. Look at that. Oh.
Look. That's what I want.
That's what you really, really want.
That's what I want.
I mean, look at that. That's so good.
Oh, yeah. See, that to me has always been the Green Goblin I remembered. With his bag of exploding jack-o'-lanterns.
Yep.
It's so good. Yeah, Toys Wonderland was completely spazzing out. I had to reset my password. It was just completely spazzing out. I don't know why, but it's all been sorted. Which is nice. So yeah, there's some absolute doozies. So was Jon Snow's head the only thing that arrived for you this week?
Oh, well, I got my Batman Beyond, but you've already shown it. I didn't.
In case people missed it last week.
Well, I haven't taken it out of the box.
Oh, okay.
And I got my Maja cases.
Yes,
not all of them. I had 9 Maja cases on order, but here's the thing: I ordered them in two different times. So yeah, so the first order came in, which was 3 Maja cases, but I have 9 DF 9. Yeah, so I could make the cube.
Yeah,
and I know you have 10, which is cool because you could that gives you a little bit of versatility. But I have to tell you, I cracked one of the boxes open. They're amazing, and by next week, I think. For fully articulated, I'm going to change the opening, and I'll have what I've got so far in the 3 Maja cases. I'll just do a little opening video for the show because it's really hard. Here's the thing. Now here's let me ask you here. Let me get some advice. Now here's how I'm thinking from a collector's standpoint. So I'm going to have 3x3. So just so people know, Maja cases are a little over 25 inches tall, and they're like 23.6 inches wide, and they're 23.6 inches deep. So they're pretty. You can fit like 4 Hot Toys deep, and then you can fit a quarter scale figure. They're pretty big.
Yeah.
So when you stack them up on top of one another, it's taller than me. So it's a pretty substantial. And then I'm going to have 3. So here's my question to you: as with Moducases, cases, rather than having them cube, you can open the walls and have it one long open thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So here's what I was thinking. Only because the Marvel figures are so colorful, I wanted to do a whole Avengers tableau on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next level would be DC.
Mm-hmm.
Justice League and DC figures, and that would include, because I have more Marvel figures than DC, but still. And then maybe the bottom would be just Star Wars figures. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have lots of rando movie figures like the Hot Toys, the Crow, or the RoboCop figures, or the Godfather. And I'm thinking like, maybe like even behind me, you got Vampirella, I got James Dean, I got Charlie Chaplin, I got my rock and roll figures, I got Michael Corleone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm torn. So should I go with the full level, or maybe I should make these first 3 stacked on top of one another rando figures, and then do the other ones Marvel Star Wars or Marvel DC Star Wars, and then have these other 3 things unto themselves. I can't decide.
Well, I was kind of planning to have a separate rando for my, like, Dean Winchester, John Wick.
Yeah, and put them all together.
Yeah, my sort of I know randos, I guess you could call them, your rando elements to them. In the top one, I was thinking Jabba the Hutt, Lando Calrissian with Jabba the Hutt, and then go to the other side. Then I got Qui-Gon, then I've got Mandos, then I've got Troopers, So I was thinking about doing that for an extended, but I think 1 cube of just randos is great. The reason why I got 10 is because 3x3, and they've got 1 left over. I'm thinking I'll put the quarter scale into the 10th.
Oh, nice.
The quarter scale Batman. So the quarter scale Batman goes into the 10th, and it can act as a semi, or it could act as a semi Batcave element.
Yeah.
Like elevating it up on a pole, like, get a sort of like a metal pole, with a base, and then you can prop that on, and then I could have the Justice Mobile base at the bottom, and then the Justice Mobile on there. Then I could combine, when the time comes, I could combine 2, put the computer in. Yep. So you have an open glass with the Justice League computer. So yeah, I would say play. I would say play.
That's the thing, because I've got so many different kinds of figures, and I was even thinking, I was talking to Justin about this. I have a lot of the Kenner, or actually Hasbro 12-inch figures from the early aughts that are just in boxes, things that Hot Toys would never make, like Chancellor Valorum.
Oh wow, yeah.
I've got and it's not a bad figure. Like, it could be, and I was thinking, like, if you did a Star Wars tableau, you could go from the prequel figures and do a Star Wars timeline within your display. So on one side, you've got the prequel figures beginning with Phantom Menace. Because I've got, they made a badass Queen Amidala with that big headgear that I have that figure. I would never, I don't think I've taken it out of storage in 20 years, but I've got it. And it would be kind of cool to do a whole and mixing and matching a little bit, not just Hot Toys figures, but put the whole thing there, and go from the prequel figures to the Clone Wars to the original trilogy. And I have to tell you, to be honest,
well, I've got my Dragon Quest, I've got my Final Fantasy 9, then I've got my Figma, my Sword Art Online Figmas.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
and I'm thinking, though, I've got 2 more, the Lego case that I sent you the picture of the other day, and I've actually got 2 more of those to build.
Oh wow!
So I could actually put my Figmas in those.
Yeah.
And the Dragon Quest, the Final Fantasy 9, beautiful figures from Square Enix. It's all nerdy to me, baby.
So many choices. All I know is that I'm going to be buying Moducases, for a long time.
I like. I think I'm next would get a DF90, just so I have a custom built long boy without taking out the insides, just to make it a bit cleaner. Just to make that element a bit clean. But yeah, I could do with a couple of DF90s. They would be great. Do
you have the shot so people know what we're talking about? Do you have the picture I sent you in Twitter?
Yeah, I can pull it.
of the Moducases cases. Now, I found a guy, and I sent you the link. I now I don't remember his name, who actually makes Moducases cases are these cases made by a company called Moducase. And there was a guy found in the UK who makes like photographic backdrops. Okay, so here you go. Now these
DF90s.
Yeah, these are those are DF120s.
Oh, they're 120s. So
yeah,
okay.
Those are DF120s. Now, so what we're looking at here is these are Moducases. These are 6-scale figures. These are all Hot Toys figures. I mean, look at these displays.
When the fucking Hulkbuster fits in with room to spare.
Oh yeah, and
these are big boys.
So these are what we're talking about. These are the Moducases filled with Hot Toys, and this guy from the UK makes these photographic backdrops. I mean, look at how those displays pop with those photographic backdrops. You've got the Guardians of the Galaxy on Titan. I love that. Now, I don't know if he also makes the foreground rubble and things like that, but I mean, this is, to me, this is the pinnacle of action figure displays. I mean, it's classy. You can put it anywhere you want. You know, people aren't going to look at you and go, why do you collect toys still?
I mean, Wakanda going down here.
Yeah, you got Wakanda with the throne of Wakanda and Asgard.
Asgard there. Ragnarok. Asgard.
I mean, this is so cool. I love, and that's Hot Toys makes those little light boxes like that Marvel light box you can buy from them. But I have to say,
yeah.
But to me, this is the pinnacle of Hot Toys figure display. It doesn't get much better than this.
I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it just
I need a bigger house.
Right? I know. Now, what we're getting is we have DF60s. So each one of those rectangular is 2 DF60s. So imagine there's a line between them, so it's 3 boxes. But the problem, I would get DF120s, but you have to wait for them for 9 months to get made.
But there again, we ordered these, we waited for them to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when you get to as old as we are, tempus fugit.
Time is the fire in which we burn.
Oh,
as Soren said in Star Trek Generations.
I was going to say, I often see time and more as a companion that walks with us along the way.
Nicely done. But how great is this display? I mean, I love this display. By the way, I look at this display and I'm thinking to myself, that's $10,000 right there.
Well, do you know the beauty? Do you know
You're looking at 10 grand.
But do you know the beauty of this to me?
Actually, it's more than 10 grand.
Oh, this is way more than 10
grand. A lot more than 10 grand, actually.
The beauty of this to me is, as a collector myself, but more importantly, as an appreciator of these things, I don't look upon this with jealousy. I look upon this with joy.
And awe.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you're so jealous. It's like, dude, congratulations. Well done.
I mean, I'm not jealous either. I mean, I look at this and I think what I really like about this is it's a combination of whoever the guy that made the backgrounds. I know Jesus is right there. I love it. I would put my buddy Christ in there. Hey, but the what I love about this is that the guy, first of all, you had the people that made Moducase, so good on them. And with Moducase, each case comes with its own internal lighting.
Yes.
So it illuminates the figures, which is important. Then you have Hot Toys, which has done such a great job. Then you have the guy that decided to make these backdrops.
Yes.
For the cases, specifically for Moducases. And then you've got the Hot Toys figures themselves. And then the collector who decided to gather all these together and put this like this. And this is what makes it all so much fun. And how can you not look at this display and not smile?
Exactly. That's what I think.
And
I
what this,
I look at this with huge pride.
yeah, and it's just so inspiring to look at this.
Stan Lee hiding behind there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so great. I just love looking at this going, now this, people will be like, oh, I get it now. I get why you buy these things.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, once they become this, then this like the where you see these people that have these rooms and they just have like a chair to sit down and view.
Yeah.
No, I get that. That's to me, that's what it'll be about.
Yeah.
It will just be sat there, side table, libation, just a nice quiet night. Maybe the heater on, or maybe the fan on in the background, and just appreciating, taking it in.
I mean, look at even the bottom left corner with the Iron Man, the Hall of Armor. You look at those figures alone, and each one of those is a $400 die cast figure. But I have to say, what I love about I sold my Hall of Armors, but if you look, he's got the 6-scale Centipede game down there in the right corner, and he's got that's another third party. That's I have my I have Centipede, but here's Tempest. I got my 6-scale Tempest game, and of course these work. These are emulators of
if they do an Operation Wolf, I would snap one up in a heartbeat.
Because I've got Asteroids, I've got Tempest, and I have Centipede. These are awesome, and by the way, they are fully functional.
Data.
Yeah. Oh my. And then
I just love the Punisher. By the way, just here.
Oh, it's great.
Well.
And then
Daredevil and the Punisher joining in.
But I love because I've got the civilian characters. I love the civilian Tony Stark, and I've got the civilian Steve Rogers, and he's done exactly what I would have done. Bruce Banner and Steve Rogers and Tony Stark down in Stark Labs with Pepper Potts.
That's great. I love this. I think that's Steve Rogers, isn't it? Steve Rogers and Bruce Banner.
Yes, Steve Rogers and Spider-Man. You see Tom Holland in civilian clothes. Contemplating 80s. I mean, look at how cool that is, and that's a whole scene. It's a whole scene.
It's a beautiful scene as well.
It's so good. So yeah, what a great thing.
I didn't realize Falcon's hiding behind the back as well.
Oh yeah, man. This guy has a Facebook. I went to his Facebook page, but there was no place I couldn't figure out. Do you have a place to order these backgrounds, or maybe I'll just make my own? Now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, hell, I'll just find high resolution pictures on the web and make them and go print them out. And all like the rubble, there's all kinds of, you can buy the rubble here if that's what you want.
This is all modeling stuff that you could probably some of these look like third-party bases as well.
Yeah.
They could be like World War II bases for all we know, or just derelict bases. But it works so well. And I just love the little Asgard and little Wakanda just in the corners there, doing the thing. God, this looks great. But I'm thinking, because there'd be. Oh, hello.
I flickered out.
Hello.
My excitement. With my excitement, I'm like, I was getting just too hot and bothered. So
you needed to adjust yourself.
I winked out of existence.
Ladies.
Yeah.
Winky, winky, woo. But and I'm just, because I'm not only thinking, this is all Marvel, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of my DC.
I know, dude.
Justice-Mobile. I'm thinking of a Batcave. I'm thinking that you could use a DF-120.
Yeah.
For the Batmobile.
Oh yeah.
Then you could literally create.
Dude, you need
some diorama there.
Do two 120s next to each other. You got the Justice Mobile, and then on the other side, you've got the Bat computer. You've got the whole background with the bat. You could make one long Batman display.
Well, I was thinking of that, the Bat computer above, because it is raised up in the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then you could put. I could create a display case with a Robin costume graffitied.
Oh, dude, you could do that, and you know what you could even do if the Justice Mobile was below, You could even have like a staircase that went up to the second
Oh,
level.
yeah.
And then you got the back computer there, and oh, come on, bruh.
That would go up there. They have the Batmobile there, the Justice Mobile there. You could have the ladder there. Here you could have the Robin display case. The ladder would, the staircase would kind of go there, but then it would then you'd have your computer, your big bat computer there. Get a tech table for Alfred.
Yeah. And then even on the top level, if you want to go to the third level, you could put Batman like in Wayne Manor with all of with all of the villains, and he's fighting everybody. Catwoman, Bane, the Joker, they're all there surrounding him. So it's 3 levels.
Or you have a DF-120 and another DF-120, and you take the base off of the DFs, the bottom and the top.
Yeah.
And you have the fucking Batwing with the wings up.
Bro, come on. Hell yeah. That's what you got to do. Yes. Everyone's like looking at us going, these guys are like...
They're hard. These guys are both hard right now. This is a cure for impotency.
But the design possibilities, what we're trying to say, people, is the design possibilities here are endless.
Yes.
And I think it classes up the joint. So
yeah, you think of your favorite brand, Star Wars, Marvel, whatever it may be, Gundams, whatever it may be, and then you just think of when you start to put them in these situations, when you start to put them in these cases, just the stories which you can start to tell just by the posing of them. These are all they're all stories here. This is all stories.
Yeah.
We have Thanos, we have Ultron, we have an Ultron bot. We have Sandman.
I love that they stuck this, the Sam Raimi Sandman. That was from the deluxe Spider-Man 3 figure. I love it.
We have that is the Mandarin who's sat down there. So we've got a villain, we've got a villain story going on here.
Yeah.
Over here we've got the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep. Over here we've got a fight going on in the streets with the Hulkbuster going with here we have the Avengers coming together for here we got Tony Stark in discussion about tech. Just little stories that can all be created by these things.
And I think that's the key to the displays is you want each display to tell a story.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jesus Christ thing in there is funny. I mean, I can, okay. But,
okay. So since we're talking religion, here's my second piece to show off.
Oh my god.
Oh god, it's so difficult when you've got a spring thumb.
Wow, dude. Look at that. Did that come with that base too? Oh,
yep. But,
ladies.
Okay. This is the weird thing. Let me get this
put her back together.
Yeah, let me put a oh man, that's actually broken off, the wing.
Broken?
That's broken. Yeah, it's broken off. That's gonna have to be glued. That is very frustrating. This is the annoying thing. Let me just move the microphone. That is such a shame. Because
people are like, you killed it. Ouch. You can always look, you can't own figures if you're not ready to fix them.
Oh yeah, it'll be fixed. Don't worry. I've got plenty of glues for this. But if I lift this up, this is the annoyance. This is flimsy as fuck. It's not tight. This is not tight. This is absolutely,
ladies,
useless. Which is such a shame because the piece itself, now it's a one-winged angel. The piece itself is absolutely incredible. It's not, but it's not Butterfingers. It's this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
this. Because then it overbalances and tilts. There was nothing I could really do there. And if you put your, the only way that you can try and hold it in is by putting your finger on the foot. However,
Right.
that's just plastic. It's rubber. There's no sort of grip on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But if I go donkey do, at least you can get an idea. But there are different wings. I actually have 2 pairs of wings.
Oh, okay.
So I could take out the piece with the pliers and actually put the other wings in.
Yeah, the sword with the base. That's so cool.
Yeah. But that's but you see, this is the annoyance. Maybe what I should have done is I should have got a stronger, before trying to show this off, he's got to get a strong, my thumb, is get a stronger, or should I just hold it like that? A stronger thing here for this. I don't even know why they've done this, but the figure itself was great.
Oh, it's great.
The figure itself was absolutely lovely. And that was part of the Court of the Dead by Sideshow. So I thought I would give it a punt to see what it's like.
Man.
Of it, considering the base looked great, the figure looked great. I'll get that fixed. It'll be fine, folks. As she falls over. You don't want to live, do you? For an angel. Well, oddly enough, this is actually an alternate version of this character. This character was actually a fallen angel. And this is what she would have been like if she actually wasn't a fallen angel and was in her, full angelic. She's lying down.
Well,
she's lying down now. Oh, so yeah, those are little stories which we can tell with module cases, folks.
Right? Yeah. And how cool is that you can do that?
Amazing.
Yeah,
just absolutely sodding amazing. Yeah. So I'm just looking at a couple of pictures I sent from the actual items itself. Now, oh yes. Now then, folks, we have this. Another new item that's come on, which is the Batman Ninja Batman.
Oh, dude, this is pretty dope. Look at this.
Now look at this,
and the face sculpt is great too, and the electron. Oh man, look at that.
Look at that lighting. Look at this. This is pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
This is pretty damn beautiful. And this has just come up for pre-order. A lot of lighting effects on this one.
Yeah, really, really cool. Like it's really cool.
Damn, yeah. So if you're a Batman Ninja fan, there is a 1 in 6 cometh thing to you too.
Love it.
Oh, there is just so much. They've even put out after showing the Ock earlier, the anti-Ock Spider-Man costume. So this is the anti-Dr. Octopus Spidey costume to fight against Dr. Octopus,
which is very, very cool.
Very cool. Look at that base with a couple of the Ock arms on them as well. The interchangeable eyes, as we've seen, so you can switch those eyes up. Look at that.
It's very, very cool.
Look at this. Ooh, look at all the Spoderman.
Oh man, they're so, I've only got a few of those, but I really love them.
I want that one.
I got the Scarlet Spider and the 2209 figure.
Yeah, that's
$20.99.
$20.99. Yeah, it's a nice looking one, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh! Did you get a 1 in 6 prisoner figure? No, there isn't an official 1 in 6.
But they did take our money for the Facebook the Kickstarter for the prisoner figures
immediately.
Yeah, they hey, I'm all happy for that, but man, they took our money. Take my money, well, as they well did. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, well now it's bought and paid for. It's just now waiting for when we get the postage. I think they do a separate postage, but that'll be it. And just having a little look-see around, because there has been so much that they have been putting out recently. Let me just jump to the statues and figures. That you said you wanted an Alita.
Yes. Well, I haven't. I've been waitlisted at Sideshow forever. So I think Toys Wonderland.
Oh yeah, it's full there. Good price.
Yeah. And by the way, we should mention that Exo6 says that they're shipping their data figures. I mean, I ordered mine through Sideshow. I did pre-order my Picard directly from them. But if they get data out in June, that's pretty good. We'll see what the quality.
Yeah. They said they are taking if you ordered directly from them, they are taking monies this week.
Yeah, and they say it's going to ship by the 15th.
Oh wow!
It's going to start.
I got mine through Sideshow.
Yeah, me too.
So that might be a little bit later. But yeah, that's looking pretty darn cool.
Very cool.
I'm just looking at the Toys Wonderland stuff at the moment. It's just like, why aren't I a millionaire?
Yeah, I got to work harder and make some more movies. I mean, ultimately, all I want to do is buy a house for us and have a place to put figures until I die.
Yes,
and
is that too much to ask for?
I don't think it's too much to ask for.
I don't at all. But I know that this house is running out of. I was speaking to Gary yesterday on the Real BBC, and I was saying to Gary, I legitimately am at a point where I'm thinking I'm going to have to get some storage for some of my stuff, because it's just I need to reclaim my bedroom back.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll tell you something. I learned the hard way. Storage can be, if you are buying things and they're not out and displayed, you're missing out.
Oh, it wouldn't be 1 in 6s. It would be like the old school toys, bubble, mint on card bubble type of things.
Oh yeah, all right.
Which I'm never going to open up from the packaging.
Yeah,
but ultimately, I would like to have them displayed. But it's room. It is room, and I needs it, and it needs it big time. Which is just such a frustrating predicament to be in. Let's have a look at this, because I believe this is shipping this week.
Uh-oh.
We were talking Green Arrow.
Oh yes, so toys.
This is Green Vigilante.
Green Vigilante, yes.
Which is the third party Oliver Queen from the CW.
So Toys, and they do a good job.
Yeah, they do. This is pretty decent stuff. Look at that. That ain't bad.
No, that's very, very cool.
Head sculpt, pretty good.
Not bad.
Not bad, Stephen Amell.
Third party. It's look at that, and look at that costume. Look at the detail in that costume.
Oh yeah. And it's the long sleeve one as well, so it's the early.
Yeah, which is badass.
The early doors one. But yeah, you look at all the little attachments and the arm extending back to get an arrow out. Mask on, mask off. So probably magnetic, or it may actually have a an elastic going around it.
Yeah.
But this is pretty darn great. And I was saying I wanted a Green Arrow. Yes, I'd like a more classical Oliver Queen, but this is pretty decent stuff.
It's pretty great.
I think so. Now then, any news? Is there any news?
I don't think there's any new news from what I understand.
Yeah,
I don't think that there's much that is dropped in the way of, other than the figures we've been covering, not much in the way of new news. Other than we have our favorite Ugnaught from The Mandalorian. He is up for pre-order with the blurg. I have spoken.
Yes, let's bring that chappy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got knocked off. What's he called?
I kept seeing. I always say Killy because I'm thinking of one of the dwarves from The Hobbit, but I said it on Justin's stream last night, and of course I embarrassed myself. But
naturally,
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Hold on. Shipping this. The Biker Scouts are shipping this week.
Oh, that's good. I didn't pre-order that.
I did have a pre-order, and then I cancelled it.
Yeah.
I ended up deciding that I couldn't justify it. Yeah. But there we go. I'm trying to let me just put Star Wars in. Put them all over the place in terms of order. They are everywhere. Where are you? Where are you? You wouldn't hide next to an ordinary citizen. I'm still gutted that we haven't had the Clone Wars Ben Kenobi.
Everyone's waiting for it. I got a question for you. I was having this conversation last night. So, in the Ben Kenobi series,
the upcoming one, you mean?
The upcoming one.
Okay.
I think that Anakin Skywalker, we know that Anakin Skywalker's in it.
Yes.
I think we're going to see both flashbacks to the Clone Wars, live action flashbacks to the Clone Wars. I also think we're going to see Ben Kenobi confront Vader, and they're going to duel in his full Vader costume outfit. Because in Star Wars, people are like, well, Rob, that's not canonical. I'm like, wait a minute. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. That's what Vader says. There's nothing to say that they did not have a first confrontation, that Obi-Wan Kenobi could absolutely fight Vader, because canonically in Star Wars, it's like when he says what happened to Vader, he knows who Darth Vader is. And if you look at Kenobi, they had a confrontation as Anakin and Kenobi. They eventually Kenobi. Yeah, there you go. How cool does that look? That figure looks great.
Oh, it's been sculpted beautifully.
Yeah. Look at that. And of course, if you're going to get, you got to get a Mandalorian in the blurg too. You got to have them displayed together. Come on, which means
that's the crap, isn't it?
Which means then that's $1,000 for sure.
I absolutely think they're going to fight again.
Yep.
I'm hoping. I'm going to be one of those people, I'm afraid. I am hoping that he's only used for flashbacks.
Yes, I do too.
But I got a feeling that they're just like there's too much on the table here to not let them have an up-to-date fight in full Vader gear. And maybe, we get to see the Masters, both of them, at their absolute peak.
Yeah.
But who will have the high ground, I do not know. I have a question for you.
I might have an answer.
Oh.
Maybe.
Have you seen Loki yet?
Twice.
Oh,
I've seen the first episode twice. I know you and I are. I watched your video, bruh. You and I
ends of the spectrum here.
You and I are definitely diametrically opposed on our view of Loki, which is fine. That's why we still like each other.
Absolutely fine. Yeah. So you actually liked it?
I loved it.
This isn't me being facetious. I promise.
I understand. You're gonna ask me why, right?
Yes. Can you actually tell me what you liked?
Okay.
Was it the destruction of the Marvel Universe?
I watched your video, and for me, okay. So here's what I found. What I found very interesting about Loki. When I first saw Iron Man in 2008, one of the things I wondered as they established the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Iron Man, and I think they did a brilliant job in that it was really about Tony Stark as a man, a human being, coming to terms with himself. Like what were his values? What did he represent? What was his company about? What was his life about? And in confronting what he had wrought, it changed who he was fundamentally. And the story was not an apocalyptic story about the end of the universe. It was about him.
Yeah.
And I think that what I found really interesting is like with the Loki. First of all, let's make no mistake. The Loki that we know is dead. Loki died in the MCU. We were there. He died. So when the Avengers went back in time into 2012 in Endgame, the Loki that was there that took the Tesseract and escaped, that was not supposed to happen. Because that had not happened yet. So when they introduced the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, which is in the comics, to me, all of the sci-fi fantasy elements, they've now added a layer to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that is so far out from what Iron Man 1 was. The realistic. So you've now moved into a real comic booky layer to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and influenced by Terry Gilliam's Brazil or the Adjustment Bureau. I loved I love that they went that far out into craziness.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that at all. The thing that got me with what you've just said, because you've said something specific, is there was a timeline that Loki did not escape. That the Tesseract was not stolen by him, and the sequence of events happened the way that the Marvel Universe developed.
Yes, which, by the way, is still true.
Yeah.
Loki dies.
Where Loki dies in Endgame. Yeah, with Thanos snapping his neck.
Yes.
So
that is our timeline.
Yeah. So the space lizards are saying, no, that wasn't the correct timeline. The correct timeline was the Avengers going back in time to fuck with time, which was fine, but Loki picking up the Tesseract and then zapping himself, no, that's naughty.
Well, but yeah, that's true. That's true because
to me this makes no sense.
Well, but okay. That makes
timelines lapping on timelines to make a timeline.
Well, yes, because that's true, and sometimes these things, as they explain in the show, they happen. So what ends up happening is the Time Variance Authority, they went in, they got Loki, and the divergence, they stopped that. So the fact that he was able that time that he got the Tesseract, that has been eliminated. Now the Loki that we're watching on this show is a man out of time. He no longer
It's the
exists.
2012 Loki.
Yeah, the 2012 Loki is going to continue on and he's going to be taken to Asgard and everything that's going to go down. So the timeline's preserved. But this Loki, our Loki that we're watching on this show, he no longer essentially exists as far as the timeline is concerned. They could disintegrate him tomorrow. Nobody would know. He was an anomaly that has been removed from the timeline. So now, but our Loki is dead. So you now have an iteration of Loki that no longer exists. He is a man outside of existence. He's outside of time.
But they're pulling them outside of time.
Well, they're pulling him outside time because he inadvertently created a divergence. They got rid of that divergence and they got rid of him. So the timeline, like now.
So where did the Loki come to restart the timeline?
Well, what they do is they go in and you saw that they use their little, whatever that doohickey is, to restart the timeline. They, back in 2012, they made sure that whatever happened in those moments where Loki took the Tesseract and that was smoothed over. They went and changed that from ever happening. Or when he landed in the Gobi Desert, when they went and said, we're resetting the timeline, they took that whole part of existence and snipped it out. It no longer exists. So Loki never did grab the Tesseract. They probably went back and stopped the Tesseract from being, whatever they did, whatever that bit of time that was fixed, stitched together. I know it's hard. It's a tough. It's timey-wimey. Come on, it's Doctor Who.
I know it's timey-wimey, but it just seems stupid whoopy.
Well, I mean,
you are allowing this massive group of people to go back and fuck with time.
Well, no, they can't. That's the thing. They're not fucking with time because there's only one timeline. But when something, it'd be like you know.
Now you're saying the meme because. Then you have Tony Stark saying, how many? Oh, I've been through, and Doctor Strange, I've looked through millions and millions of different timelines.
Well, that's the thing.
One, because the fucking space lizards it's all predetermined.
That's right.
There's no free will.
Well,
your decisions are useless. Everything you do is useless. You're just a meat sack who is viewing what would just happen anyway. You are having no effect whatsoever on life.
But no, because your free will still delineates the timeline. You still have to make choices that you are making. Now,
but it doesn't, because if you diverge from that, then you're an anomaly.
Right, but you still, the questions and the things that
you've got a beginning and an end before you've even started.
Well, that's true, but your whole life is made up of decisions that you personally make. You've had to personally make them. You've made those choices from the beginning.
I think that's the debatable point, because when you have a predetermined beginning and a predetermined end, does that mean that you actually have free will to get from point A to point B?
Yes, I think that you do. Your whole life, but your whole life is predetermined. But yet you still, in order to get to that ending, you still have to make all of those decisions that were made because of you. Because remember, there was at some point an original timeline, the timeline that was you created. You made decisions. Every decision you ever make is what made that timeline happen. Because originally it wasn't like there was an original prime mover and there was an original timeline that was created. Now there's a multiverse, there's a million different timelines, but they're all in the same. There might be a million different timelines, but in each timeline, these things were supposed to happen. I know it's hard to, it's a tough, I'd have to draw a diagram, but I'm telling you, I loved it. But the real thing that I loved is when Owen Wilson asked Loki, why do you like to hurt people? And we're really getting into the core of who this character is, because so often we see characters as they're defined, like a villain's a villain. But I think that what I loved about it was Owen Wilson's asking Loki, why are you the villain?
But
why are you the bad guy?
So quick. He got there so quick.
But he already knows the answer. So what he's asking is Loki doesn't. He doesn't know really
we
why.
already had the answer in this series.
Well,
but
yeah,
as we saw from other films, of course, he was still wrestling with his other nature.
but that's because we saw him later. You know, we've seen him. He had years. The years that we've seen him grow and develop have never happened to this Loki.
Yeah, I call those character development.
Yeah, so basically, we're looking at a Loki.
I call this lazy.
But we're looking at a Loki that didn't have that. The same way we saw Thanos, the Thanos of 2012, who didn't yet have the Infinity Stones, you know, and went and battled. So
but wouldn't it be really interesting that you had a villain? I mean, from my perspective, it would be you have the villain Loki right now. You know, you got the 2012 villainous Loki right now.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be much more interesting to be dealing with the villain as opposed to somebody who talks about their feelings and works it out within the first episode of the show?
Well, I think you're also dealing with forget you're dealing with an individual who is suddenly his entire universal view of everything he believed in has been shook by the time variance authority. Like they say you're never even supposed to know this exists. You're not, and imagine if everything you knew in a moment was taken away from you, you know, and suddenly you watch your own death.
But this is where free will gets taken away. Because if it was Loki's free will to pick up the Tesseract and escape, it wasn't.
Well, but here's the thing. Here's what I think is awesome. The Loki that we have now is we don't know what he's gonna do. Because he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I know. He's going to get his ass kicked by the female version of him. That's what's going to happen.
He's been removed from the timeline. He is now a completely free agent to be whomever he is. And what I find really interesting is that the way they've set this up, if they want to, because obviously they're going to bring Loki back into the Marvel universe somehow, but he's going to go on this whole different journey. And I'm looking forward to seeing what ends up happening, and I'm like, I think this is a really interesting way to go back and you know, if you had a chance, it's like It's a Wonderful Life in a way, but instead of going back and learning about yourself, you're moving forward. Instead of looking at your past, you know, you're not, or you're looking at the road less traveled or whatever. And I think, look, what I thought was really interesting is what this does to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, how it now broadens with the Time Variance Authority. You know, we know that you can't just jump around and, oh, we're going to go get so-and-so back from the dead from this universe and bring them. And obviously this is setting up the multiverse of madness, whatever that all means. So WandaVision, Loki, Spider-Man, and it's going to culminate in multiverse of madness to see where this is going to go. And I think they're going to do something, I don't know, interesting. I just found it, you know, as far as time look, obviously I want to see where it all goes. But I did find this first episode.
It's obvious that there's a female Loki killing. That's obvious.
But
absolutely,
I mean,
so obvious. And ultimately, I think it's going to time for Tom to say goodbye to the role, and time to bring another fucking stunning and brave, ultra powerful powers we can't put onto any sort of a scale. Because if you notice how in the last few shows, like Wanda, Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau, they all have huge powers of undeterminable what.
Right.
Whereas you go back to Iron Man in 2008, and you knew what it was. It was a man being kept alive by the arc reactor, who was now using his wealth instead of creating weapons to make him the weapon. But this time, instead of killing civilians, selling to terrorists, he was getting revenge. And over the course of 10 years, yes, we saw the evolution of the suit. And yes, pretty much by the end, his suit was essentially magic. But at least there was a modicum of science involved.
Right. Yeah.
Nanotech. I'm now into nanotech. Okay, you know, we'll kind of go along with that. But, you know, we've now got women blasting all kinds of shit out of their hands. We don't know the power level of them. We don't know the damage level of them. It's just, we don't know I don't even know what Scarlet Witch's powers are.
Yeah,
she's meant to be in people's heads, and then she's like firing these blips, and then what's Monica Rambeau? She's a fucking marshmallow?
But we do know from the comics. I mean, we do know that, like,
Scarlet Witch... You've got to keep these separate from the comics.
No,
you have to keep the MCU separate from the comics.
Of course. I mean, but ultimately, you know, like Wanda Maximoff caused the whole House of M universe. She altered all of reality, you know, in the comics. And while yes, it's separate, they have to establish what her powers are in the universe, which they haven't done yet.
But the same with Captain Marvel, and the same with Monica Rambeau now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Monica Rambeau has been different. She was the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But they have to, like, even the Time Variance Authority, which was, I believe, introduced in the Thor comics back in the 80s. You know, so all of this stuff, it's not like they pulled all this out of their asses. They're always going back to...
No. It's just that I find it incredible when you know what the stakes are, when you know what the situation is.
Right.
When you know, like, we know that Tony Stark is a man, just a regular man. Yeah, he's got a great tech suit.
Yes.
You take that tech suit away from Tony Stark, he becomes a massively more vulnerable.
Yes.
Black Widow. She's a highly trained assassin, no meta powers. She uses small tasers to disable people. Great martial arts skill. You know, you know where they are, so you can understand and equate in your brain the level of risk involved with that character.
Yes.
Like if Black Widow has a cruise missile fired at her, she's fucked. If Tony Stark has a cruise missile fired at him, you thinking, right, his armor could probably fire off some flares, could send some heat seeking, or he could turn around and maybe even use the repulsors on the missile. So you know the stakes, you know what's at stake with these various people. When characters have these unknown powers, how am I meant to care about them? Oh, and no, I think this is going to be the same with Loki. He's now just going to become this we just don't know what you're up to now.
Right. No, I look, I agree with you, and I'm like, I don't know where this show's going to go. I don't know where they're going to take this, but I would assume that they're not going to erase Tom Hiddleston from the Thor universe. I would hope not, because he's such a great actor and such a compelling character. But what I'm hoping is that we're going to see the character go through something really, really interesting. And I'm curious to see, like, I always like when characters have to come face to face with their shortcomings or whatever, and they go through some kind of change. I mean, I would like it if Loki evolved to become even more dangerous and more like he obviously saw his own death in the first episode. He saw Thanos choke him, and he's like, well, I'm not going to allow that ever happen to me again. Because right now, he's powerless. There's everything that he's relied on to get by in life he doesn't have now. So I'm really looking forward to... I'm hoping that they're going to establish Loki as being more powerful, more dangerous, and have more glorious purpose than he's ever had before. Because I love it when Owen Wilson's like, let's break this down. What do you want? You want to rule? You want to rule Midgard?
How did he get the hoofa-doofa off Owen Wilson? He never even got close to him.
Well, no, he was standing right next to him. You know, at that one point, he turned and looked, and you know, he's Loki. He's a sleight of hand master. It was that was lesson one he learned. So I had no problem with that. But I want to see Loki be reestablished now that Thanos is gone as the most. This is what I hope for the show: the most formidable villain, restore where he was at the beginning of the MCU. So now what you're doing is you're restoring somebody who is dead. You're going to bring him back, and he's going to be like, you know what? I have realized that
Jeff. Sorry, dude. Dude. It's good to discuss things. If you just want to fucking live in a vacuum and not question anything, then good for fucking you. I think this conversation Rob and I are having right now is fucking great.
Yeah.
because we're discussing the back and forth, and he's giving his opinion. I'm listening to his opinion. I'm giving my opinion. We're producing our counters to each other. This is what good geek discourse used to be. This is what forums used to be. This is what chat rooms used to be. This is what comic book shops used to be. Just because you don't agree doesn't mean that I'm nitpicking. You can have your opinion.
No, and by the way, I've never thought you were nitpicking. I think that one of the great things about listening to your opinion, it's very cogent and well considered. I mean, my hope for this show is that it restores Loki as one of the more formidable villains that we have. And he saw, like, Thanos ultimately, for as powerful as he was a punk, because he was kind of like what Owen Wilson was saying to Loki, like, okay, you want to rule. You know, what does that mean? Loki comes to terms. He's like, you know what? I wasn't thinking big enough. I thought, yeah, I want to rule. That was my lot in life.
Yeah.
No, there is a lot more. There's now a multiverse to rule. We're not talking about. I
want to rule Earth, then I want to rule the 9 realms.
Yeah, and I
introduced to space.
Yeah, and then it's like, no, but that wasn't, because he didn't even know any of this existed. He realizes that, and this is my hope for the show. He realizes that he was unaware of what was actually going on. And now his mind has been opened up more than anyone else's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thanos didn't know the Time Variance Authority existed. He didn't know. Maybe Kang knows.
Thanos saw his own death.
But he didn't.
And accepted it in Endgame. He saw his own death and accepted it.
And he knew that was
destiny.
Yeah, it was his destiny. But now Loki realizes that, wow, I had no idea that my understanding of how the universe works was so damn limited. And once, I hope he triumphs in this show, and it restores him to being the most dangerous character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because he realizes, being the god of mischief and all that, I was very small-minded. That's what I'm hoping. I don't want to see a female Loki come out of this. I want to see Tom Hiddleston restored as the greatest threat to the MCU, because he's the only person in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that can see the big picture, and that's what a god is.
Nowadays, yeah. Oh, I did enjoy that.
I mean, wouldn't that be great?
I mean, I much preferred Tom Hiddleston when he was evil, when he was evil Loki.
I agree.
I thought the character got diluted down. I mean, in Thor Ragnarok, his character is literally a joke, because 1 second he's like, "Oh, I'm a naughty guy," and then he's like, "I'm a helpy guy," and it's like, "But I'm a naughty, but I'm a help," and it's just like, it's not even funny anymore. It's just
now he can be truly the god that he was meant to be. He understands things that no one else in existence.
Well, I mean, this can change his perspective, but to me, I just think this whole thing has got so convoluted immediately that we don't even know where we stand anymore.
No, but that's what we're going to see. That I think that we're going to see what happens. I think that's if the show does what it should do.
But did we need 50 minutes to establish, I think, something which could have been established in 10? Did we need a clip show of the Marvel Universe for 45 of those minutes? Sat in a room talking about stuff that we already knew about Loki.
But you didn't like. I mean, I gotta say, I love the exchange between Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston when he was saying these things. I mean, I love that line of questioning. Why do you like killing people? You know, why do you do it? I thought that was pretty heady. I liked it.
I just found it. But I was like, oh my, you know, he's just like, first episode, and you're already sat down talking about your fifis. I was like, give me something.
Well, I mean, how about the drawer of Infinity Stones? Like, we have a lot of those. I mean, they basically I
wanted to slap a fucking bitch after I saw that.
But that means that
people were even using them as paperweights. I was like, fuck you, Feige.
I don't know, man. Because look, it shows that there's a lot more layers. Suddenly, the universe got much, much more interesting. Like the Infinity Stones are here. but now there's this. I mean,
but you've had a 10-year fucking storyline building these things up, these Infinity Stones up to the threat that they are, to have Thanos take them, to have Thanos snap. Ow, that really hurt my thumb. To have 50% of the whole universe vanish for the Avengers to go back in time and to try and sort everything out. Now they're a joke paperweight on somebody's desk. To me, it belittles 10 years of storytelling.
But see, I would say that we're talking a universe, right? Which is amazing. And it's the whole thing, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what they're doing now is saying, here's the whole universe from beginning to end. But now, what if there's a million universes? You know, and that doesn't change the struggle from your universe. And everything that happened was your universe could have winked out of existence. We're talking about everybody that existed in your universe. But what if we discover now that the universe is exponentially bigger?
But instead of turning the Infinity Stones into a joke, why didn't you have a case or a something that had the Infinity Stones in that were from different multiverses? And then like Loki being, oh my God, look at this power at my command. And then somebody saying, well, no, here they're inert.
Yeah.
You know, this power which lies before you, this is inert here. We are out of time. These have no effect, and still keep the respect of the stones. But no, you had some guy going, what's a fish? By the way, Jake's got an Infinity Stone as a paperweight. And it's just like, oh, fuck off, mate.
I can understand that. I totally understand. And that's not an invalid criticism. But I guess, you know, for me, it's like, okay, look at our planet Earth, right? Mm-hmm. Everything that's ever happened to human history, from the dawn of time, everything we've done, all the toils, the pyramids, the library at Alexandria, Greece, Rome, and language, all of it. Everything that's happened in human history, everything is on our little planet here. Well, we're in the unfashionable end, as Douglas Adams said, of the Western. We're in the unfashionable end of the. I forget the actual quote. In the Western spiral arm of the galaxy. So everything that's ever happened everything that we've seen, everything that matters to us, we're not even in the middle of the Milky Way galaxy. We're just in one spiral arm.
Yeah.
Well, now what if we discover that, you know, in another galaxy, the Andromeda galaxy, everything that happens over there, nothing that we've ever done matters. Even though it matters to us, we've had all of our history and all that. But the Andromeda galaxy comes along and goes, you guys, you're like this. But now let us tell you why nothing about Earth history matters to you. Here's an entire new history of the galaxy that is far more important than anything that's happened to you. And then Ursa Minor or whatever, they show up and they tell the Andromeda galaxy, you guys, you really don't know anything about the nature of the universe. And then the Andromedans are like, oh my God, we had no idea. And that's what they're doing. So that doesn't change the fact that all of the struggles of Earth, everything that's happened in all of our human history matters to human history. We just didn't know that there was a lot of other stuff happening on different planes that doesn't invalidate our struggles.
Well, I mean, the without trying to circle the debate, that to me would go back to predetermination, because if it's predetermined according to the three space lizards, our struggles are not our struggles. So this is probably what's going to split a lot of people on this show.
But I think they are. Here's the thing: within the paradigm, they are our struggles. Like, we still have to. The choices that we've made are predetermined.
The lizard struggles, because the lizards are determining what's right.
But they're not
our struggles. They're the lizards.
No. They're only preserving the proper timeline. You know, we still have to make the right choices. If I don't make the right choice when I'm supposed to, it's still my choice to make that.
No. If you don't make the right choice, it's not free will, because then you get pulled out as a divergent and told, wrong, you pressed B when you should have pressed A.
Well, but here's the thing.
But free will made you push B.
But
so you've lost your free will.
But no, I don't see it that way, because here's the thing. Okay, if you
Loki picking up the Tesseract was his free will.
Well, Loki picked up the Tesseract, yes, but that wasn't even the Tesseract wasn't supposed to even be kicked in his direction.
But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing is events happened. Events are happening, and if events are happening, they're happening through free will. They are happening as life is going on.
Or they're I mean, it's not to say that, like, for instance, if the timeline isn't perfect. So if you've got, and remember, we know that the timekeepers, there was a war of different times, and they had to put it all together. So what they did was they firmed up a timeline. Like, here's the timeline that's supposed to happen from beginning to end. But that decision. Well, it might have been their decision, or they just took the timelines. Like, they couldn't. I don't think that
the multiverses were waging war against each other. Okay, yeah. So it was the Space Lizards' decision to say, "Oh, we don't want this to happen." That was free will. That was free will happening right there. Was the multiverses clashing?
But see, here's the thing. I think free will still exists, but if you're talking from now to the end of time, as every decision you make in your life is still your free will. It was just in the timeline, it's only supposed to happen a certain way. Otherwise, it would be a different timeline. Now, that's not to say that within the timelines that there can't be some random, there could be randomizers all the time. Not everywhere, but occasionally.
But if I diverge because of my free will, it's not free will.
But that only is necessarily in one instance. You know, I mean, it's.
But that's all it takes, according to the show. There was another guy. You know, there was another guy at the beginning who they just wiped from history.
They did, but
he pressed B instead of A.
But it was his free will that made him press A in the first place as well. Nobody
free will that made him press the button, which caused the divergence.
But throughout all of time, he always pressed A, and then for whatever reason, something happened. Some maybe multiverse incursion or something happened that caused him to press B at some point, which caused the diversion. But it was still, his whole life was his own. That's what created the timeline in the first place. The actual sanctity of the timeline that they're protecting was created by you exercising your free will, doing the things, and that there had to be an original. Once you can zip back and forth on the timeline, there is a preserved timeline that is based on your decisions.
There is a timeline that the three space lizards are saying, this is how we want things to be. And when somebody diverges from that, and they have this stream of time, it's so difficult for us for humans, of course, because we have it could be our limited brain. We have present and past. We don't know the future, but we know the past, and we know the present because we live in the present. But we don't have that sort of leap. According to the Space Lizards, they have this stream of timeline where they can pick at any single point. It's them who are determining that flow.
See, I don't think that they determined the timelines. I think the timelines already existed. And what they had to do was preserve the sanctity of each timeline. Because
sorry, I gotta play devil's advocate with this one though.
Yeah.
Who gives the fucking Space Lizards the right?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think the Space Lizards are making decisions for anyone. If all of that previously existed to even them existing. Like all of the different timelines from the beginning to the end of time were already there. The entire, however much in the multiverse, it was already there. The timekeepers came about, and what they were doing was that, okay, we have the multiverse of all these different timelines. I don't know how they came into being. They were just there.
Well,
so we need to make sure that, and what happened was during the war was probably fucking up, and these timelines existed already. And each individual that existed in those timelines got to free will, whatever. That free will did determine the sanctity of that timeline. And then what happened was there was probably some things like when you travel through, somebody traveled through time, that was a nexus point. It either went well or it went badly. So once people started traveling within the timeline, that probably created, I would assume, this is my own making up shit on my own, that if you travel through time, then suddenly that point in time becomes something fluid. And normally it would go and it would happen exactly the way it was supposed to happen always. But there was always a danger of some randomization that would happen where somebody kicked something one way where they should have kicked it the other, and the Tesseract wound up in front of...
Okay, this is where we disagree. I think, is where we're fundamentally disagreeing, because you said somebody kicked it in the wrong direction.
Yeah, because they now they'd opened up a moment in time where they inadvertently and shouldn't have, but there was a randomization happening, and that's why the time variance authority exists, is because the timelines that are meant to be, they're sacrosanct. You cannot change these timelines. But there are events that occur because there's incursions from the multiverse or whatever, where those timelines are weakened because of these nexus events. And if something something changes the sanctity of that timeline, the TVA has to come in and go, no, we have to fix this because the sanctity of each timeline needs to be prevented, which is why the timekeepers, after the battle of the multiverses, had to make sure that all of those timelines were preserved.
I hear what you're trying to say, and I disagree.
Yeah.
Because to me, if something happens, it's happened through free will. If somebody goes left 3 times and then they go right on the 4th time, to me, that's not wrong. That's free will that's made them go that direction that time. Now, that could cause, for argument's sake, as we saw, there's an episode of Doctor Who, turn left, but they turned right. Or they went to turn right and they turned left. That's what it's called, turn left. Now that, to me, could cause a different timeline, in as much as now time's gone off on a different route. But in this show, they're saying, no, that's a divergent. So how can you have these layers of multiverse, but decisions which would create a multiverse are being corrected as wrong?
Well, okay, I would say, okay, here's in my mind, here's how I envision it. So time from beginning to end, from the dawn of the universe to the end of the universe, whatever happened was determined by random events, free will, all of those things. But now here's what I would say, is that somehow, just the way the universe was created, that's when time began in the multiverse. And so on our timeline, there was no timeline until everything happened based on free will and whatever. And by the time we got to the end of the universe, all of time, that it already happened, and it was all based on random happenstance and free will. But the beginning and the end of the universe already occurred. It was there. And in the multiverse, all of the timelines that existed were there. Now, after all, because we don't understand when the Big Bang happened, and we don't know when the end of the universe happened, but you might as well say that as soon as the universe began, it already ended. And everything that was going to happen in the universe already happened. So once and think of all of time as being the universe. It's already all there. It's there. Done. And then sometime after that, there was maybe beings that were created that can go between timelines that already existed. And then people they're able to fuck around with the timelines and mess things up or whatever. But those timelines already existed.
I hear what you're saying.
So, and by the way, they were created by free will and randomization.
Yeah, exactly. So what negates their fucking around with the timelines?
Because now what happens is these things are now being interfered with by forces and beings that
wouldn't that create multiverses? And that's why we have multiverses. Otherwise, how do we have multiverses?
I think we had multiverses from the beginning of time anyway. And now what's happened is people figured out ways to traverse those multiverses or go between those multiverses and figuring out ways to move themselves outside of time, because even that, in having these sacrosanct timelines, there are even timelines beyond timelines that, because it's infinite, that are allowing these kinds of incursions to happen. It would be like, I know it's hard to wrap your head around. But by the way, David L says this conversation is going to destroy the space-time continuum.
I was gonna say, if you know, we're nerds, we're geeks, and we're having this conversation, fuck knows what normies are thinking.
Oh, I'm sure they
is all I can say.
Are thinking out of our minds.
Because I think there's so much that they've just tried to palm off as, you know, it's just timey-wimey stuff, don't worry about it. And it's like, no, to us it kind of does, because we need to have the sense of it all. And yes. if the timeline flowed from, like you said, from the Big Bang to the end of the universe, if there was already a pre-established amount of multiverses at the start of the Big Bang, that to me that's the confliction to me, because that to me isn't multiverses, that's just time streams. It's just all different time streams. That's all it is. We have one time stream, we have another time stream. But to me, a multiverse is where things have been created by different decisions, like parallels in Star Trek Next Generation. Right. You know, one decision leads to a new branch in the timeline. That creates a new timeline for them. The whole thing about Jar Jar Abraham's Star Trek, of course, is that it's the Kelvin timeline and not the Prime timeline.
Right.
You know, because of Spock coming back. So to me, it's the free will of the people which are creating these alternate realities, that are creating these alternate universes, creating these multiverses.
But then let me ask you this. What if we discover there is no free will?
Well, if there is, like I said, if there's no, to me, that's what the show's saying. There's no free will. And so to me, the horrific aspect is we are observers in our own body. Nothing that we ever do. If I was to pick up a drink, let's say, and drink now, that wasn't because I was thirsty. That was already determined that I would do that. Yeah, I was already determined at 10 o'clock UK time to pick up the water and drink it. It's already happened. It's already been mapped out for me.
But is that a bad thing?
Yes, I think. Well, I think for us as humans, do you want your decisions to matter?
Well, I think that they do, because my decisions and all of what we're supposed to do actually preserves the way the universe is supposed to unravel. Okay.
Then you die and you go, there is a realm beyond, let's say
there is, yeah.
And you discover that nothing you did in your life mattered. It was already mapped out.
But it did matter.
No, you thought it mattered, but it didn't.
Well, I mean, look.
Because you were never in control.
But don't you think that's the truth anyway? Like, ultimately, on a grand cosmic scale,
history's yet to be written. But we're dealing with a fiction here. We're dealing with a fiction where a history. They're saying a history has already been written.
Yeah, but people
This is
still
the
mattered. What people did mattered. Like what I mean, I think look, we're discussing literary constructs too.
Oh, I
which
know.
I love. I mean, at the end of the day, like I know what I think the Loki series should be about is that Loki has now been enlightened. He's learned things about the universe that he didn't know before. He's learned things that Odin didn't know. He's learned things that Thor didn't know, that Hela didn't know. So he's gained wisdom that none of the other characters that he's ever interacted with had any idea about. And the question is, what's he going to do with this enlightenment? What's he going to do with this wisdom?
We have to wait and see for that.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that, to me, that's why it's interesting. It's because he's had the cloak, the veil pulled over that was over his eyes has been pulled away. So what is he going to do? And maybe his desire is to maybe your objection about predeterminism. Maybe Loki's like, you know what, this sucks that our lives are meaningless and everything we've done has been predetermined. So as the god of mischief, maybe my lot in life, maybe the reason I was created was to restore predeterminism back to the universe. I mean, destroy predeterminism and give back free will. And maybe, of course, the ultimate irony was that's exactly what the timeline needed. And so in Loki's liberation, that is exactly what was supposed to happen in the timeline.
I think if that happens, I would be amazed.
I know I don't buy it either. But hey,
enough credit. I don't. But I just don't see. I just see him getting his ass kicked by a female Loki.
I hope not. Because that would really disappoint me. That I think, to me, the intriguing things that, as somebody who loves time travel stories and all this, I would be very annoyed if they reduce this down to that, because what I find really interesting is all the questions that they've set up in this first episode as far as Loki is concerned. Like, why do you like hurting people? Why do you like to do these things? What if he finds out that that's how I was created? I just want
to answer this real quick. This, of course, works off the assumption God is real. So that in itself has an assumption. A Christian, a religious person would believe that the God exists, and therefore they would believe potentially in that predeterminism. Whereas somebody who's not religious wouldn't have that same opinion. So again, it kind of operates on the same theory. Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked some really good shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, dude, I love these. Dude, the only thing that's wrong with this conversation is we weren't in a pub together.
I don't know. I think this is to be honest, I think the audience have rather enjoyed it for the most part.
Yeah, I love this conversation.
What I will say though is I don't think the case is the case for the defense is that solid when the time people just come across as obnoxious twats.
Well, that's the funny thing. Like in the comic books, a lot of them were portrayed as like these faceless kind of drone things, and I do think that by making them so recognizable to us, everyone's wearing coat and ties and all this. It's like, well, I'm like, I would like to have seen a little bit more of a sci-fi spin. I think, and I understand they try and make people more accessible to others, but yeah, like the guy, there are choices like, I've never seen a fish. Are you kidding me? You work for the Time Variance Authority and you don't understand like wouldn't you be aware of
what something was, but he didn't know what a fish was? No, come on.
Yeah, and that's like, but you know what a paperweight is? And that humor sort of undermines, if anything, my criticism was that they didn't go far enough in the sci-fi portrayal of these, because people that had this awareness of time, they would treat you much differently. And that's the problem, is that they humanized the Time Variance Authority people so we could better understand them. And I would rather have seen, if it was as smart as I would want it to be, the portrayal of that would be very, very different.
Yeah, because it just came across a bit, without going to it, just came across a little bit fascistic.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Whereas, yeah, if they lent into the sci-fi of it, I think that would have been so much more interesting.
Yeah, because the time variance authority, I mean, the idea that you have to understand it's 70s kitsch, like the design and
I know,
I that kind of stuff. In
dude,
a way,
they had a DB fucking Cooper joke in it.
Yeah.
Dude,
and by the way,
we are barely hanging on ourselves to know who DB Cooper is.
yeah, I don't get why that stuff was, but I mean, I know.
Yo, that's like felt like somebody who was 75 wrote that one. Oh yeah, what if Loki turns out to be DB Cooper? You can just imagine like people going, who?
And that was so out of left field too.
Yeah,
I'm like, how does that? What?
I called it before he said it though. Because when it was on the plane and he said, I got a bomb, I didn't twig. And then when the plane was grounded and they gave him money, I was like, oh, it's DB Cooper.
Why then that? Of all the things that they're going to do, like, I don't understand why, because we've never... That to me was something that they're trying to be overly clever, but I think the audience was left scratching their heads going, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, why?
And he's taking his money. But his money
got all over the place anyway when he got boomed up.
Yeah, he doesn't need money. It was a joke. It was a bet by Thor. What was he betting you? Like, it would have been more interesting if Loki was a historical figure from 1,000 years ago. It's some battle that we didn't necessarily need to know, but he could have been a Roman leader or whatever. With the DB Cooper thing, it's so weird and specific. Like, why that? Where did that come from?
You've had him at the Battle of Troy. With and it was something complete, kind of almost. I mean, you're dealing with Norse mythology here,
right?
It would have been funny if you it would have been interesting if you crossed it with Greek mythology or Roman mythology.
I mean, wouldn't it have been interesting if you want to set up that there's a female Loki, that he was Helen of Troy?
Yes,
because he's the guy. He could have taken on the visage of, and at the end he's like, no woman is this beautiful. And he leaves, and the beauty of this woman is what caused the 10-year war, and it turns out that he was the god of mischief. I'm going to turn myself into the most beautiful woman that ever existed to start this war, just to mess with everybody.
But that's another thing. In this universe, he doesn't shapeshift, he uses illusions.
Right. But
he's not gender fluid.
Right, yes.
So they've got that wrong.
But it would have been interesting if he had done that and they showed him like, yeah, I'm tired. I've been this for 10 years. And then everyone's like, where's Helen of Troy?
I've got no problem with that. The thing is, though, you've established that he does this through illusion.
Right.
If you had established that he'd done it through shape-shifting, I mean, it's still a bit iffy because he was still a certain sex when he was born. Just because he shapeshifts into another doesn't make him technically fluid. It just means that that's something he can do. He can make himself a horse in mythology because made himself a horse and fuck something. But yeah, in this cinematic universe, it's been established that he does it through illusion. So even though when he turned himself into Captain America and all that kind of stuff, that was just trickery. He was still Loki when he was in his cell and everything was looking great. And then of course, when he truly revealed and the cell was a mess and he was a mess, it's just all the art of illusion. He was still Loki. Anyway, I fucking love that conversation, by the way.
It was great.
This is how you can. To me, this is the pinnacle of how you can pretty much fundamentally disagree with each other on something and have a great respectful conversation about it.
Well, and also look, for me, if I've set myself up to expect a lot from this show.
Yes.
And if it doesn't deliver, it will be again like I was very disappointed by WandaVision's conclusion.
Yes, I thought WandaVision was going to go a completely different direction, and boy, did it disappoint. Falcon and Winter Soldier, the least said about that, the better, because that just went fucking full retard. And this is why this is why I'm so cynical. I mean, what you said, if it does come to pass that Loki from your from your hope, I guess, embraces his evil, embraces his god of mischief. This is who I was meant to be. I'm meant to fuck it up. And then he fucks up all the multiverses. And so then it makes sense why they wanted things to be so predetermined, because they needed Loki to cause the chaos.
Yeah,
to destroy the predetermination?
What if he becomes the main villain of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Everyone's talking about Dormammu or Morta. I mean, that would be... I would love that. I would love to see Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Hiddleston go toe-to-toe. With Wanda Maximoff. I mean, they could turn it into... And the themes that they are dealing with, I think, are really interesting. Like, you know, and the funny thing is they've turned Tom Hiddleston, they've turned Loki into somebody that we believe now is good. You know, and now it's like it's a therapy session. So when he's saying, well,
I wouldn't say good. I would say somebody who has come to
and I what I
come to peace, I would say, or come to realization.
Yeah, but I want to see him change.
Is the word that I'm trying to get out.
Yes.
Somebody who's accepted.
So I don't want that. I want that now he's giving a new lease on life. Normally people are like, yes, I've been given a new lease on life to do good. I want it to go the exact opposite way.
Well, this is it. Now he's going out. He's going to be allegedly going out hunting himself.
But I want him to realize that, well, if everything is predetermined, I've been predetermined to be the god of mischief that the multiverse needs. I want him to be the ultimate. He's got a realization. He's become smarter and more aware.
I will say this, Robert. Sorry to interrupt, but I will say this. We were all coming out with way better ideas for WandaVision than actually happened. That is
true.
And if what you're saying comes to pass, then it would make sense for the predeterminism. If it doesn't, oh fucking well, you know, we're back there. Chat, by the way, thanks. Chat said a lot of people were saying that they fucking loved it. They loved the discussion.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you, folks. I thought, I mean, I thought it was great.
They're supposed to do.
Yeah,
We're supposed
exactly.
to have these conversations.
But like you said, you know, it would have been great in front of a live audience with some beers.
Yeah,
that would have been good. Some microphones, some beers. Some not hookers, some big busty wenches pouring us ale, nip slips. God, that would have been so good. Shane O'Reilly with a €1 phallic. What? Dog. And you, Robert, from Shane O'Reilly, you get yourself a €1 mustache. Because you're a connoisseur. You see, you're a connoisseur, so you get the mustache.
I like that.
That's how I see it. As is Girly Warcry with a €1 phallic unicorn. And Roger H with a 2 Canadian thumbs up super sticker. Thank you, Roger H. I have just realized that we have done the stream apart from the super chats, and I totally fucking forgot to monetize the stream. Monetization has been off. Oh, I'll turn it on now.
Yeah, you can turn on. Well, that's only for ads. That's only for ads.
Yeah. It just works afterwards, folks. It doesn't work during. It works afterwards. It's all good. It's all good. Predator 1987X with a $2. I'm a truck driver. I'll drive you guys. Let's go.
We're there, man.
Who of America? 200-watt studio with a $2. Is this stream about what toys or what toes? About manky toes.
Wow.
Yeah, I had Star Wars girl fucking DMing me. Go, can I see your feet? Fuck off. Freak. Tay Baby 26 with a $5. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Thank you for sharing some more what toys while I work online on online schoolwork. Oh, there you go. Bilbonius bag of donuts with a $10. Thanks to you guys, I now collect HAWT toys.
Yeah.
Infinity War Thanos in hand. Oh, nice. I love that. I love my big juicy purple man.
I do too.
FFH Spider, EJ Cap, IW Doctor Strange, IW Thor, and EG Thanos. Now on plans with Toys Wonderland. I thank you, but my wallet does not. Your wallet, it's fine. Your wallet loves us. Trust us. Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast with $6.65 super chat. Check out the new Indiegogo campaign, Heel versus Baby Bubble Wrap Safety Suit. Look, just because I'm falling to pieces doesn't mean that... Yeah, okay, fine, that's fair enough. Born Again with a $10 super chat. What toy stream? It's like knocking on the door of my favorite speakeasy. A guilty pleasure. If you'd like a figure from, mine would be Robin Williams as Popeye. Interesting. I've never heard that one before, I'll tell you that. Punk Waddle with a $5. Just as a follow-up to last week's discussion, my metal build crossbone Gundam X1 full cloth.
Oh, dude, that's such a beautiful figure. Oh, my God.
That came in yesterday. My wallet has regrets, but I still don't. I like to hear.
That is a beautiful figure.
With a $1 Fitty Diamond super sticker. Diamond geezer. Bane with a 50 Norwegian. Bane, my workout and diet plan will get you in shape in no time, as we have seized the entire world's supply of strawberries. Fiber for all.
That is a deep cut to the oral knots.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the oral knots stuff on Bane. Look, Freestyle Bane. If you guys have not watched the Oral Knots YouTube video, Freestyle Bane, you owe it to yourself. It's one of my favorite videos on YouTube. Go watch it. Not right now, but after the show's over. Yeah.
Mexican Iron Man. I think you were doing not so good. I hope you're doing so good, dude. I hope you're doing better. With a $10 hi RMB.
Hello.
Please show on screen or text me or Twitter a pic of which version you like. I got a designer / toy artist to mod you a Mex Iron Man. Hot toy version you want, Rob? Hail PGS.
Wow.
And E and HVB.
I love that.
I don't know if I've got any pictures out. I don't know which ones you're talking about, Mexican Arman, but if you tweet at me or just email me at HeelvsBabyface@gmail.com, I will see what you are fully talking about. Bill Boney's bag of donuts again with a 2 US. I want a 1 in 6 Oren from Final Fantasy X, maybe a Waka. I have the Play Arts Oren figure. It is much sought after and rare. I love Final Fantasy X. All the characters are great. Waka was good. I want a real life Blitzball, by the way. Le Chevalier de Lys with a 10 Canadian. Hey, lads, and Maestro of Imagination. Love that Green Goblin. Is there an original Hobgoblin that looks as good? That's the main Spidey villain I grew up with. And that Hobgoblin camper, great arc. I don't think there is a Hobgoblin, is there?
No, and I wouldn't mind getting that. That would be great.
That'd be great. Fuck Google, 2 with a $2. Robert, you ever go to Frankensons?
Yes. Okay. Frankensons is it's almost like a bazaar, like a gallery, a lot of storefronts inside a building and of different collectors who have their stores there. And there are people that have 6-scale collectors. There's some great, if you're looking for third-party figures, rare third-party figures or Hot Toys figures, there's always somebody there at Frankensons, and they're usually open to dealing. So if you want to try and get a deal, they might hook you up.
Yeah, a little bit of barter.
Especially if you have some cash.
I have cash monies. Do you care to barter with me, sir?
I would care to barter with you. You know, when you come to America, we will go to Frank and Sons. And
I bartered once in a bloody electrician shop. Sorry, well, it sounds like a small shop. No, one of these huge electrical stores.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm gonna buy that, but I'll only buy it if you chuck in those £10 speakers. And the guy went, okay.
That's
cool.
the way. That's the way to do it.
I just did some legit bartering. Antoine Dennison with a 2 US's storage. Sell the old toys and buy a bigger flat.
Well, there's
it would
something
have to be a lot bigger.
I mean, the problem with that is it seems like the sensible thing to do, but then you'd have to get rid of your toys, and who wants to do that?
I don't want to sell anything.
Yeah.
It's all mine.
Yeah.
All mine.
That's right.
Man of War, Neighbor of the Beast with a $6.65 super chat again. Well, one of the benefits of being a 1 in 12, a lot more stuff in a lot less space. Just saying.
Not as cool.
Not as fucking cool.
Not as cool. I mean, I get it. I get it.
You're going to have layers to get your... Otherwise, it's just going to look like a fucking mess. Detritus with a $5. I pre-ordered John Pertwee 1 in 6 from Big Chief UK, and it still hasn't shipped to the US. Released in March. Any info on it from you guys? No, but if I were you, I'd follow up real quick. I know that Big Chief are meant to be announcing soon the new models for the 9th to 12th Doctor.
Where's their Flash Gordon figures? Come on, Big Chief. Where are they? Just asking.
I got stuff on order for them. I got Gary's birthday present on order for them, and I think it's meant to have been out, but it's not out.
Not out yet.
Burn with a 50 Norwegian kroner. We Nords know Loki as a chaotic character. He's helpful some of the time. He creates trouble most of the time. Bane. Well, it's God of War's been out for a long time now, so spoilers. If you don't want to hear something, mute me for 30 seconds. I'll do this when I've finished. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Well, the reveal at the end of God of War is that his son is actually Loki. So Atreus, who he calls Atreus throughout the video game, it's actually revealed at the end that his son is actually Loki. And then Bane with a 20 Norwegian kroner. I think the show should make Loki a time webble. Gabba Gabba Nay with a $5. The memorable part of Kirby's Loki was the relationship with Brother Thor, characterized by feelings caused by working at cross purposes. Yes, we haven't had, it was only like a very small part of Thor Ragnarok that we actually eventually got some proper Loki Thor discussion. I would, needed much more of that kind of thing.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I liked it when he was pretending to be Odin. And then when Thor turns up and he's just like, he's drinking, he's just like, oh, shit. Because Thor turns up. I thought it was funny. S-Beam with a $5. They release a cos baby of President Loki. Are you going to get the 6th scale version? I need to see the context. Because if it's an Orange Man bad joke, just fuck off, please. He's not even president anymore. Just please, for fuck's sake. Dr. Evilface with a $5. Love this discussion, gentlemen. Nerds debating nerdy things. This is what it's all about. Hope someday we can have more of this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I must say, I really enjoyed it.
It was good for me.
But it's just good to get. Like I said, when I said at the beginning, I'm not trying to be facetious, but why? I was legitimately needing to know your take. I needed to know your perspective, because your perspective, like you said, us having that discussion has made me think, well, if at the end Thor does fully embrace the mischief, the god of mischief, and fucks up all the multiverses because he's like, fuck predetermination. Now I understand why they have predetermination. Well, so there is at least an explanation for the predetermination for there to have it ripped all apart. I personally think
fascinating stuff. I mean, we'll see.
I personally think you've just written a better show.
Well,
after what we saw with the previous two shows, I think you've probably already just written a better show, Robert. I'm afraid.
I try.
Stubble McShave with a 50 Swedish. In Norse mythology, Loki took the form of both women and a horse. Yes. Maybe we'll get a horse Loki before the end. Well, didn't the horse fuck something? From what I remember, didn't he turn into a horse and fuck something to create and got it pregnant? I don't know. I don't know. David L with a $5. Az and Robert, what are your feelings towards Galactus and bringing him into the MCU? I think Galactus will be the villain in the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I mean, I've always liked Galactus. He's not exactly the most scintillating of personalities. You know, he's definitely deadly and scary, but you know, as a character,
he's also not a cloud.
Yeah, no, he's not a cloud. No, he's not.
So you had Galactus as a cloud, and you had Parallax in Green Lantern as a cloud. Fuck me. Could you be any more disappointed as a comic fan?
Yeah, no.
For both of those revelations.
No, pretty much that's about it.
Oh, could you just imagine? I mean, fuckarella. How good it would have been if the Green Lantern storyline actually went to becoming Parallax.
Yeah.
Then you could have had, then they could have had their Justice Leagues, and then you could have had Parallax as the big villain for a Justice League, and then you could have had Parallax, of course, sacrificing himself in the next Justice League to save the world. And, you could have done a Final Night esque storyline where something was, well, fuck it. We write better fucking things. Well, I mean, we didn't write Final Night around that, but we come up with better ideas, I think, than
yes
would anyway. Punk Waddle with a $5. It's sci-fi Calvinism where predetermination takes man-made intervention instead of just an all-knowing entity that just knows what's going on. Yeah, it's predeterminism. Yeah. David L again with a $2. I want some of what Robert is smoking. I got what Robert was trying to say. Some of it I agreed with, some of it I didn't agree with. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
I understood.
Maybe I needed more dag nugs.
Yeah, I understood what your argument was. But yeah, we'll have some of that if that's all right, Robert. Mr. Tickle Junk with 5. Canadian. Belittling the Infinity Stones can be really cool if you wind up to that throughout storytelling. They've made an unearned jump, and it feels cheap. Oh, it felt cheap. It felt real cheap, especially coming off the back of a What's a Fish. Barry Morton with a $5. Maybe the original timeline is without time travel. Well, that's what it was, though. The Lizards are trying to keep the time travelers from making the base timeline get too weird. Well, again, that would go. You know, like I said, this is where Robert and I differ on the free will element. You know, but that's what makes for interesting discussion. Calftron. Wait. David L with a $5. This conversation's going to destroy the space-time continuum.
We're still here.
It was getting there. Oh, it's so good. I haven't done that for a long time. Like, just had a fucking nerd out. I haven't had a nerd out for so long. It felt so good.
And it's good. Why not just, I mean, we're debating nerdy things. I mean, I love this. There's
no right or, well, I mean, I'm right. Calftron with a $5. Have to ask, how do you equate / disagree with Time Lords versus Space Lizards intentions and operations? I am feeling similarities. Yeah, good question. Really good question. Robert, I'd like your opinion on this as well, please. I would say that the Time Lords want time, want there are fixed points according to the Time Lords that you cannot alter.
Right.
Anything else is open for alteration because time is in flux according to them. Now, if you attempt to alter a fixed point in time, which is what the 10th Doctor did in Waters of Mars, what happened on Mars was meant to be a fixed point in time, and he thought himself the Time Lord victorious, and there were no rules that would hold him back. Therefore, I dismiss your fixed points in time. And what happens? He saves the woman. He saves 2 other people who would have died. But the woman says, what happened? What happens now? Because this, he's told her that you were meant to die. You were meant to die. You were meant to all die, but I've saved you. I've saved some of you. I'm great. And she's like, well, shouldn't we have died? How's time now going to go on now that you've altered time? And it was just like, well, that's for me to fucking decide. And she goes into her apartment, she kills herself to correct the in her eyes the mistake in the timeline. Because this is a fixed point, not a flux point, a fixed point. And that causes very small changes in time that still led to the same point that happened. So her killing herself actually corrected the fixed point in time. And ergo kind of brought the debate that if you fuck with a fixed point in time, the timeline will fix itself because of that. And that's why you can't interfere with them. But other than that, he can, you can, and he, because Doctor is a he, you can go around doing, little things. Well, you can do what you want, really. Time is in flux, as the Doctor says. What do you reckon? What do you reckon?
I agree with that. I mean, I think, look, when you're dealing with the idea of time travel, I think that each time travel story needs to pick some kind of they have to pick rules for their time travel. And you need to understand what those rules are before you travel through time. Otherwise, you wind up, whether you're talking about the grandfather paradox or whatever it is about time travel, that however you want to do it, you have to pick which kind of time travel. What's your flavor of time travel? You have to figure this out. And this is something this matters. This matters. I mean, it really matters if you're telling a time travel story. Like, one of my favorite time travel movies is a movie called Predestination starring Ethan Hawke, which is based on a Robert Heinlein short story. It's a low-budget movie made by the Sprigg brothers in Australia. Watch that. Or if you watch a Spanish movie called Time Crimes, which is another great low-budget time travel movie. Or Back to the Future. I mean, Back to the Future had a very distinct, easy to understand. I mean, but this is before there was Back to the Future 2 and 3. But the first Back to the Future, a perfect script, really made sense of time travel. You have to understand what you're going for. Well, Doctor Who has been developing. It's amazing that it's been as consistent as it has been up until, of course, Jodie Whittaker, when you're going to go retcon the beginning, which I'm like, why do writers do this? It is so disrespectful to the franchise that you're working in that you try and retcon the very basis of your own character. I don't get why that's a thing now, but it is. So I don't know. Yeah,
as long as you establish your rules for time travel. Yeah, I think that's and Doctor Who does it. You can play a little bit fast and a little bit loose, sure. But it has remained pretty consistent. I think I don't even know. I think the fixed points in time actually came about from New Who. I think that was kind of like an addition from New Who. But there's nothing wrong with evolving your rules. You just don't do what they did with Whittaker. You just don't fucking smash the whole thing to pieces. But there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, the rule from 1970 really kind of is holding us back a little bit. But if we just tweak this little element of it, then that's how, then that can allow us to do things. That's fine.
Yeah.
You just update that kind of stuff. But yeah, there are different rules of time travel. It's like that. Mr. Tickletrunk with a 2 Canadian. All I know is I'm failing this timeline test. Hold on. No, that's fine. It's fine. Neil McDonald with a £3 super sticker of a thumb up from a pair. Ladies. David L. again with a $2 super chat. This is my favorite show of the week. Love you guys. Oh, thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
Brewhouse Box with a $10. I think of it as the multiverse is time streams. Beginning exists and end exists for every possibility in between, resulting in the multiverse. But the stream we're on is getting messed up by the others. But if it's... again, without trying to open up, but if it's every alternative causing the multiverses, then there wouldn't be anything wrong because it's just a decision which has been...
Yeah.
This is the whole debate. Well, I mean, that's why we just had a fucking hour-long chat about it. Emil Johansson with a 50 Swedish. I fear the plot of Loki is so complex that that when the writers explain it, nobody will know if it's mental gymnastics or beyond our mortal comprehension. Well, this is where my cynicism has come in, because we wrote, everybody pretty much came up with a better story for WandaVision. And nobody could have come up with a worse story than Falcon and Winter Soldier, if you ask me. Because that didn't even understand heroicism. It didn't even understand hero. It didn't understand villain. It was... I ain't even going to go there. There's a rant video. Just watch my rant video about Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I think, I think, Robert, you probably just wrote a better story than we're going to see.
Well, hope springs eternal.
It does. But, once bitten, twice shy, and I've got 2 big fucking bites on me right now. I don't know if I want a third one. Finbar Hule with a $5. Do you think the Disney Writers' Room shares writers from World of Warcraft? This sounds so much like the Sylvana storyline from Shadowlands. It kind of does a bit. Yeah, there are some similarities there, but there are some just weird leaps with the Sylvana stuff that were just, again, what I was saying to you earlier, Robert, about suddenly somebody that kind of fits within an existing parameter, their powers have just gone whack for no reason.
Yeah.
So okay. But yeah, I do agree. Mr. Tickle Trunk with a 5 Canadian. Rob's problem is that he's too imaginative and intelligent, that he can see a way to turn bad writing into absolute gold. Rob gives good brain.
Well, thank you for that. I think that's what geeks do, though. We've always tried to figure out what inconsistencies. I have to tell you, so there was a series of books that came out called The Best of Trek, which were essays about Star Trek from a magazine called Trek, but they were collected into The Best of Trek. And these articles were all about making sense of the Star Trek universe's inconsistencies. And man, as a kid, I lived for these books. And there was a series, Leslie Thompson, and I never knew if Leslie Thompson was a man or a woman, would publish this column, Star Trek Mysteries Solved. And every one of these things would go into these deep dives about inconsistencies in the Star Trek universe and how to reconcile them. And so I guess my go-to position for science fiction, fantasy, and horror has always been to try and figure out within the context of the story I'm watching, how does any inconsistencies that have popped up, how can I, in my mind, my job is to reconcile them and make them work as opposed to not making them work. So I guess that's my go-to position, is how can I make something that isn't, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'll try and work with it to try and, in my own mind, reconcile it and make it work.
It's so that's optimistic.
Yes, that is my go-to position. It always has been. So that's where I'm coming from.
Emil Johansson with a 20 Swedish. Snyder said he might do religious porn?
Well, Paul Verhoeven's new movie, Benedetta, is all about lesbian nuns back in like the 17th century. So I'm all for that.
Ladies. I'll watch that.
Yeah. Trailer looks great.
Tell you what, though, it's a bad habit.
Oh.
Hoy!
That was pretty good.
Where's my oh god, I'm gonna have to do it on the other hand because I can't do it with this thumb. Chippy, sorry if I set your dogs off. Chippy with a $5. Hail as and Robert, just saw the Loki show. I am heartbroken. As an aspiring writer working hard to get good, sucks to see Marvel go woke, go broke. Wasn't too much, woke stuff. I mean, my eyes did roll out of my head, up the wall, down the stairs, into the toilet, into the washing machine, into the drain, and back into my eyes when a thick-set woman of color came out of the time portal first. I was just like, you went for that checkbox, didn't you? Didn't see, and then immediately punch him and just take him out with one punch. I was like, yeah, this is going down a road that I could have predicted. So that was sort of eye rolling, to say the least. And again, it was not. I don't think it wasn't. As you said, there was just such a human element to them. It didn't feel special or weird, or just imagine if some fucking weird creatures had come out.
Yeah, it was a little weird that we've already seen a universe full of various creatures. When you have Rocket or you have Groot, that everyone that worked at the Time Variance Authority, it was very humanocentric.
Yeah,
and I found that odd. That was something that kind of let me down, considering
it's not as if it even did anything interesting with them. Like there was sort of like soulless husks, like white eyes, and sort of like clued into, clued into the time. They were just, retarded.
Yeah,
just stupid, retarded people.
Yes.
And then we kind of went from the idiot at the front desk to the idiot behind the counter to the midget idiot, and I sort of like 5 minutes in, I'm like, holy shit! So we've had thick set fat black woman. We've now got midget. It just felt like we were going through a procession of boxes at that stage.
I think that is something that, like, the Time Variance Authority as portrayed in the comics, it would have been far more creepy and weird if, it was very much like the drones from the movie THX 1138, where they were these like faceless. They're humanoids, but they're robots, but they have no faces.
No face. Yeah.
Everybody was. It would just put it, because now, and I understand. And when you met Mobius and he's more human, then that would have been somebody who was created to be tailored to deal with Loki, as opposed to when I see goofiness going, well, I don't know what a fish is, it undermines the Time Variance Authority. And I thought that, I understand they're going for a Brazil vibe or whatever, but it did undercut, I thought, what they were doing.
Well, that's just the thing, though. Don't go for a something vibe. Go for your own vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, when they did the cartoon, that's just been completely ripped off from Fallout, the video game Fallout. So it didn't feel as if I was seeing original ideas. It felt like I was seeing writers who had gone like, oh, in Fallout, they have these like quirky machines with smiley faces on. So they did a quirky machine with a smiley face that looked like something out of Fallout. Oh, they have those like 1950s cartoons, even though it's in the future. And they did exactly that. And it's just like, oh man, this is just ripping shit off.
Well, that was something that I found, like, here's an interesting way. And I find this to be problematic in a lot of our modern science fiction. It's when you can recognize something and you can be like, oh, it's a little bit of Brazil, it's a little bit of the Adjustment Bureau, it's Ernie Kilowatt, it's Jurassic Park with a little explanation, which is from, like you said, the 50s cartoon. I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, here you have an opportunity to put your own spin on that. What's your version of this?
Exactly.
Like, why would the Time Variance Authority be using animation at all? Like, wouldn't their version of animation, if you've got all kinds of, then wouldn't it be 3D? Wouldn't it be whatever it would be? Why is it 2D animation that I'm looking at from the 70s of Earth?
But I see it as lazy exposition.
Yeah.
Real lazy. Because you could have. This is the frustrating element. Like, instead of there being humans, like you said, what if they were faceless, all faceless? Okay, and then so by time, even in the courtroom, the judge faceless, the guards are all faceless, and then you get to Owen Wilson, and then Owen Wilson is human.
Yes.
Then it's an anomaly.
Right.
You could have had like the faceless walking down corridors and still like looking at them, even though they got no face.
Yeah, they could have done. Yeah, and I see that as a look. The funny thing is I go into these shows wanting to love them, so I am more predisposed to wanting to love these things than not. But when I watch these, and I understand where they're coming from, but when you're doing something that is diminishing the amount of imagination that's on display, like the Time Variance Authority, I'm like, it shows how it should be done in the comics, and when you have all of these varying human beings, like whether you're going to go through race or whether you're going to have a little person or however you're going to do it, it's like, okay, but this is still all humanocentric. It's all like of Earth. And what you're trying to do is create this otherworldly, beyond time, beyond space entity. And what you're really doing is you're like, we're not creative enough to make it go beyond Earth. We're not going to go that far. And then it does seem, I hate to say it, but it does seem a little pandering, like you're checking off boxes. And it is kind of tokenism.
Yeah, it's very much tokenism.
And I get disappointed when I see that, because with the Time Variance Authority, you got to go gonzo. You got to go full sci-fi. You've got to use your imagination and do something unique. And when I see something like, Rocket and Groot, that's more imaginative than what we got the Time Variance Authority. And what's interesting is maybe Owen Wilson would have been the only human being that we're going to see talk. That everyone else is, that would have
been amazing.
And wouldn't it have been interesting? And like, especially when these guards, like if there's one place where you don't have to show faces and things, these guards, these weaponized, they come out and they have no faces. They're like the drones from THX 1138. If you're going to rip off from sci-fi, I'm like, I don't want these people to have personalities at all. They come out, but they didn't do that. And when you're watching this, you're like going, is this all you got?
Yeah, because I mean, I feel as if they're so frightened to use like midgets, little people, whatever you want to call them, in a more creative manner. It's you had with like Thunderdome, where you had of course the
Master Blaster,
in Thunderdome and stuff.
Who run Bartertown?
Who run that? Yeah, but it's like they're so frightened now to put like a dwarf or a little person into a different, just a unique kind of perspective. Because we're like, oh no, you're like belittling them. No pun intended. No, you are being creative with them. That's what you're doing. Because
like the movie Time Bandits.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all the Time Bandits were little people, and I thought that was really a great choice to do. To go, great way to do that.
And then we just have this boring 1950s office with current day box ticking.
Right. And even the humor in it was current day. I mean, how wouldn't it have been really interesting if it was like this 50s or 70s, whatever, retro styling, and all the people working there were these nameless, faceless drones, like something out of Disney's Own the Black Hole.
Just a highlight.
Yeah. I mean, that could have, Yeah.
You could have had like old school typewriters and.
Yeah, and then when Owen Wilson comes out, he's incongruous, and he's like, "Well, I'm not really like. I mean, this is not my normal form. This is the best way that I can,
Well, no, just don't explain it.
Yeah, right. And
just explain it. Even if Loki says, why are you different from the others? You just say. Just have him smile, or just a little smile. Just come this way.
Yeah, and not even mention that. Go.
Yeah.
Oh, am I different?
Yeah.
How am I different?
Just smirk it off and move on.
Yeah.
Put an air of mystery. Nothing's. The beauty of sci-fi is when the mystery doesn't actually get revealed. The mystery is left up to you to decide. Yes. Oh, do these people actually produce faces when necessary? For specific circumstances,
absolutely,
and that allows you to have these cool little debates. But it felt like we went through just a very, to me unfunny beginning that was trying to get cheap laughs. Oh look, Loki's talking about his beautiful Asgardian leather, and then they just lasered it all off him and he's naked. Okay. Yeah. Then he's just in a room, and then there's just a guy behind a desk, but Loki goes, ooh, as if it's a big shock. It's the guy behind the desk. Please sign here. This is everything that you've ever said in your life. Well, of course he can't read it all. That would be so stupid. So he says what? And then you type out what, because he just added another word. Do you get it? It's just like, oh, God, this is, are you a robot? No. Okay, well, if you are, you're going to get melted in this thing. What if I'm a robot?
Right.
Oh, it's like, this is not funny. This is cringeworthy. But yeah, I do go into these programs, honestly, Robert, I do go into these programs not so much wanting to like them, but wanting to be entertained.
Yeah.
That's where I come from. I want to be entertained. So if I'm entertained, I'll be more than happy to say, like the first 5 episodes of WandaVision, I love them.
Yeah.
I thought they were great, but then when all the sword stuff started to develop, then I was like, fuck, this is turning into fucking schlock.
Yeah.
Okay, let's push on, because you probably got a show.
I do. I've got a show.
Yeah, Darius Munchausen with a $1 fiddy phallic. What dog? Shayna Riley with a €5. Great show and great discussion. And you're right about the mustache. I called it. It's the connoisseur mustache. Calftron with a $2. Word on the street, 6-inch McFarlane 66 Batcave coming.
Ooh.
What? 1 in 6 or 6-inch? That could be interesting. Buttcrack Media or Buttcracker, I should just say, with a $1.50 Canadian. What dog? A Russian Bob with a $10. This is how it's supposed to be. People can disagree on something and just have a good debate about it. Not wanting to cancel each other or insult each other, just having a good discussion. Well, this is why I love Robert. Because Robert's the normal person. And you can have these types of conversations. And I don't think either of us, fear that the other one's just going to start screaming and shouting at the other one and calling them fucking Hitler.
Well, I guess being a geek for as long as I have, these are the kind of conversations I've been having since I was a kid. You get in these. I remember having long conversations about would the Justice League be able to take the Avengers, and having these conversations about Superman and Silver Surfer, or Hulk and Superman, or the Flash and Quicksilver, and you would go on and on and on, but nobody came to blows. Like I
said, it's been such a. This is the kind of stuff that I used to have all the time with my geeky friends.
Yeah,
these are the conversations that we had, and because we're more familiar with each other, because we're real life friends. We might go fuck off. We might be like fuck out of here, you fucking wanker. But because we've known each other for 20 odd years or so. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a great little exchange of ideas and rationale as to why you thought that way.
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't just the person kind of insinuated. It wasn't just you just don't like it because it's that Marvel type of thing. It's like, no, we're picking points and discussing and debating them, because one person might think that point's valid. And another person might think, no, I don't think that point is
right.
Calftron with a $2. Speaking RMB fixes, he gets all the no prizes.
Marvel no prizes. I used to love hearing about those in the backs of comic books.
Ooh. Take a 610 with a $5. The EFAP crew made a hilarious Loki video that had me in tears by the end. Make sure you get on one of their Loki discussion videos. Laughed my ass off. Mauler and I have actually been DMing each other today about Loki. But by the time we're DMing, he said, I've already done a 2.5 hour stream about it. I was like, cool.
And by the way, I always watch Mauler streams because I learn between him and the drinker. I learned so much. And they've always got really interesting takes on this stuff. So I would suggest listening to the both of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Drinker to watch Loki. Because the beauty about something like the Drinker is the Drinker will give his honest opinion. If he likes it, he likes it.
Yep.
And he'll give his rational reasons why.
Yep.
And that's why you can either agree or disagree with a Drinker video, but still love the video because he debates his points so well.
Oh yeah, and regardless of whether you agree with him or not, he always makes some very interesting points that are worth experiencing.
Yeah, he's freaking awesome. Stig with a 50 Norwegian. I think that the TVA are the bad guys in Loki, and female Loki will destroy them. This sets up the multiverses we'll see in the next MCU movies. Oh, I hope it's not as generic as that. They just destroy the TWA.
Yes.
TVA, and that's the thing that causes the Oh, that would just be very, very boring. J. Chris, because that'd just be like Sword all over again.
Right.
J. Chris with a $5. Received my first HAWT toy. 6 scale Iron Man Mark 85. Beautiful piece. Thank you for this show, guys. It's a great piece. And thank you for your super chat and support.
Such a good piece.
AT with a 20 Norwegian. Thanks, Robert. I might give Loki a shot. I would thoroughly recommend giving it a shot. You know, if you formulate your own opinion.
Agree.
Formulate your own opinions. Finbar Hooley with a $5. The TVA would have been better if it would have had an explanation like the Q. So when we see the continuum, it's the human perception of it. Well, that would have been an explanation, but they offered no explanation. And I think, to be honest with you, I think they could have probably come up with a better explanation than just ripping off the Q. You know?
Yes.
There we go, Robert. Caught up.
Well, what a fine day we've had.
That was good. 3 hours. Whoopsies. But it goes so quick.
It goes so fast. Well, I guess I will have to take my leave of you because I don't even know what I'm going to talk about in my show, and I've got to go figure that out.
Okay, well, is there anything you would like to plug before you go, sir?
Nope. Well, actually, you can find me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett. Find me on Twitter at BurnettRM, or find me on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work. And if you like anime, watch Dota Dragon's Blood on Netflix. And also, if you're in the New York area, tomorrow, a film I produced and edited and post-supervised and visual effects supervised, Tango Shalom, is screening at a movie theater at the Brooklyn Film Festival tomorrow night. And it's the first time it's played in a movie theater with a real crowd ever. So I wish I was there. I won't be, but if you've ever wanted to see an indie Jewish spiritual quest family dance comedy fable that was made for a low budget, Tango Shalom is your movie.
And who hasn't? Let's just be
there
honest.
you go.
Thank you to everyone who turned up today, everyone who came to watch. Massive thank you to the mods, Jennifer, Purple Valkyrie. Thank you very much indeed, ladies, for being awesome as ever. Everyone who hit the super chat button and the membership button and joined to become a channel member, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Next week, we will be over on Robert's channel for Fully Articulated, same time, 8 p.m. UK time, midday Pacific time, for some more geeky and toy-related goodness. And
Yes.
Valier Delise just slides in the quick to Canadian. What's worst, TVA or DMV?
Oh, man, the DMV is by far worse,
DMV.
especially here in Los Angeles. Oh,
So in there, I will end today's proceedings. And as we say, Robert, be seeing you.
Be seeing you. It's a salute,